Shrouded in cloud, a rocky structure towers. A scraggly, naturally unnatural pillar looms upwards, ascending far into the sky. It is adorned in red crystals, scarlet shards of glass, shrieking away from the structure, as though it were fingers peeking out from some rocky tomb, holding tight a desperate captive. It rises seemingly infinitely, and as you follow it upwards through the misty clouds towards the sun, suddenly it breaks off. The singular great column splits into 5 separate ones, looking perhaps to some far-off observer great branches in a lonely tree, each branch reaching their peak and flattening into enormous continental plateaus. These enormous plates hold much. A desert of flame creatures, a valley of mist and serpents, snowy mountains of enormous trees and crystal rivers, a fountain for giants turned to a city, and the center great land of plains, mountains, stories, and legends. It is on this center plate that our adventure begins. Upon the southernmost tip rests a wood. Dark trees of pine stand resolutely, solemnly, shoulder to shoulder, intent on hiding the secrets within. A nearby town lies quietly, ever watchful eyes peeking curiously at their neighbor. What lies inside, some ask. What brute we have heard, though to speak of what is said, trees. Trees that peak, trees that peer, wood that groans as it turns to who would step upon its forest floor, an ancient guardian who protects the few there, they reply. A village, a hamlet, a tiny settlement, but a gathering. The stories heard, the stories told, wherefore we shan't intrude any further but than to glimpse. Most would wonder aloud and to themselves, what would lie in that creaking timber to bring back tales of such fright? And most would be content to wonder. However, as we all know, some men and women are foolish. They hear tales of what they may find betwixt these peaking trees. Hopefully they hear tales enough to not go alone. Inside that small village outside the wood lies a tavern for questers, would-be heroes or mercenaries, for anyone that can lift a sword and wishes to use it. It serves as a meeting place for people to rest and encounter like-minded travelers or those in need of assistance. And currently, that is where all of you are. You all come here for one reason or another. You've all found your way to the creaking timber for one goal or another. To find something lost, to find someone new, maybe to find something that no one even knows ever existed. Who knows? But you're all heading in, and you can choose to go it alone, or you can choose to go with a friend, as the many legends that surround this place certainly give to the idea that it's not exactly the safest place in the world. Currently, you're all sat down in one of the many taverns in the world. Every major city and most smaller towns have a tavern. But they're not taverns like in a typical story. They're kind of the taverns you would see in any other fantasy story, but specialized. These places are not just places to get ale and get drunk, have a sleep, have a rest. They are actual hubs in a sort. This is where people of the town and nearby villages go purposefully to post problems or ideas or quests, essentially. And it's also where people know where to gather to find other people like themselves. Adventurers to find mercenaries. Mercenaries to find people that will hire them. All sorts. As it stands today, this tavern in particular of this tiny village isn't exactly the most bustling. There are few people here, and the people that are here aren't exactly having the most exciting of times, shall we say. It's quite a quiet place. The lights dim, soft but warm. A couple of tavern goers, one drunk, asleep, laying on the table in his own spit, the other one writing something down, completely to himself. And you four. What do you all do?
I mean, like, I guess the question would be is like,
You can choose whether to go alone or go together. But I will tell you this one thing. All 4 of you are heading to the same place. It's your choice if you want to go there together.
oh, we're all like together already.
No, you're not. You're meeting in the tavern.
Well, I'm going the fuck in. I don't care who says what.
What are all of you doing currently?
I assume probably if we're going through stuff and we're just trying to fill the space of empty voidness. Probably. All right, hold on. I assume when Lucas walks in, he kind of just like surveys the area. Do you want me to go through like a little description of what he looks like? Because I'm happy to do that. So I'll resend the picture in chat for anybody who wants to know. But I'd say there's about when he walks in, you would probably see about maybe somebody who's about 6 foot, 6'2", kind of give or take. Definitely completely blonde, green eyes, kind of dressed in like the weirdest little attire that you would think an adventurer would not be in. And definitely dressed nice. And he's carrying a rapier, a very large satchel around his waist. He's got kind of what looks to be almost like a weird like cloak tied around his waist, and he's got stuff on him, and Lucas will probably look around and kind of just sigh to himself and like sit down because he's been walking for a while, and he's just gonna sit down and take a breather and start fiddling with that potion again on his waist.
Well, I believe the person who would be following closely behind Lucas to at least make sure for their job would be you, Santiago. What do you look like as you enter the tavern?
Large and inch and tired, but mostly large. A little stinky, definitely stinky.
It just exudes. You can see the smell lines.
Have I just ended up here at the same time as Lucas, or have we talked yet?
You've met up a little bit, but there hasn't really been a huge amount of conversation, just enough to know who each other are.
By then, Lucas is like almost kind of like avoiding him.
The less he talks to me, whatever. I'm getting paid.
I think Kit Kat probably enters next.
Okay.
What do you look like, Kit Kat?
Oh god.
Pink.
It's pink.
like a crayon?
Yeah!
I'm just gonna have to imagine your character is a very large crayon with legs and arms.
I'm just gonna get there. So, he's a big, tall, pink tiefling. And he's wearing, like, a cloak right now, I guess, because I'm unimaginative like that. And he's hot pink. He's got horns, and he's got wings. Because, I don't... And he's got a little, what looks to be an orange scarf. But turns out it's a fucking snake, because I have snakes in all of my games.
Your little orange snarf kind of wraps around a little tighter before it kind of like sits up a little bit. A little tongue flicks out of its mouth real quick as it looks around at the tavern around you.
A buttercup already.
Oh, I forgot to mention that like this boy has like a fucking owl that like perches on his head every so often.
Oh yeah.
Pretty sure owls eat snakes. Anyway.
Oh
no. North is very well behaved.
Oh yes.
I think the last person for tonight who's going to be entering this tavern, also in this episode, will be Baydor. Who entered the last, Baydor? What do you look like?
He's like a pretty normal looking guy with a big brown, like light brown coat that's hiding something brass colored.
Just all lumpy.
Just an average lumpy Joe. It looks an average
Not
lumpy
lumpy.
Joe.
Kind of skin.
So, you all have entered here for one reason or another. Baydor, you know that your goal lies further in the Creaking Timber. Currently, this is a small village right outside. You can actually see on the map if you zoom in. You won't find what you're looking for here, but hopefully you can at least stop by and see if you can find any information. Lucas and Santiago, you both have heard certain things about the wood as well that would certainly benefit the both of you to take a rest, at least, before you're traveling into the wood. Potentially as well, find people who are going along similar routes for protection. You're not entirely sure where, Lucas, where the thing you're looking for is. You just know that all you've been told is that it's somewhere around here. Kit Kat, what you're looking for is a little bit more of a moving target, shall we say. You've heard some tales about whatever it is, but really you haven't had the chance to get much information out of really anyone. So I think you come into this tavern hoping on some level that maybe you'll be able to get a little bit more information about what you're about to be facing from the tavern keep himself, or potentially people around the town. And if not, so what is everyone doing?
Kid, you staying here for the night?
What time is it in game?
In game, it's a little past midday. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
What'd you say, Maya?
How long are you planning on staying here tonight, kid?
As long as we need to, so that way maybe we don't face any trouble, let's say.
Where are you headed? The tavern keeper has overheard what you're talking about. It's a larger, burlier man with a substantial beard. He's got very gray hair, and there's some pretty deep-set wrinkles. You can tell he's seen some shit, and laughed at a lot of shit, too. He looks like he's at least been in a few fights, although he doesn't look nearly as experienced as any of you in the tavern do. But he looks experienced enough to know he can hear trouble when it comes into this building.
Yeah, sorry. Lucas probably sits and he's like, honestly, I don't... In the Creaking Timber is where all I know where I'm going. I'm looking for something around here, and that's all I know so far. Once I figure it out, it won't be an issue.
You seem like a young lad, so I'm gonna give you a piece of advice. He sets down the glass he's cleaning. Creaking Timber is a place where young men like you go in to be the thing someone else is looking for. Not so much the place that people find stuff, if you catch my drift.
Y'all trafficking boys out here?
No.
Why you sound so disappointed
I
about
wasn't
that?
particularly confident.
No. Just, if you're going to the Creaking Timber, you watch yourselves.
Well, that's what I'm here to do.
I assure you I can watch myself just fine, but thank you for the warning.
Bador and Kit Kat, you both can hear this conversation as well. The Tavern Keeper is not exactly a quiet man. I don't think Lucas or Santiago are keeping their voices down a huge amount either. What are the two of you doing, Kit Kat and Bador?
I guess I'll walk over and ask and be like, what's poppin'? I don't know. just kind of ask if they want somebody else to come with them through the Creaking Timber, I guess.
To Lucas and Santiago?
Yeah, why not?
If you want to, you could actually ask that.
Oh god. I have to get
Roleplay.
the
If you don't
voice.
want to, you can't just say that you're doing it.
No, I have to practice my voice again.
Oh no.
Hello.
Travelage is back!
Oh dear.
Howdy.
You guys going into the Creaking Timber?
Yes, actually. And, what about you?
Yes.
I'm scared. It's too late to run away.
What did Cole say?
I said I'm scared. Is it too late for me to leave?
One of them people Barkeep Horn was taking boys out in the woods. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We ain't been taking no boys out in the woods. I just known too many good young men who went in there and never came out.
It's the way you say it. It's the way
Well,
you say
excuse me for my upbringing and
it.
accent.
Excuse me for my...
Lucas is like kind of smirking and laughing a little bit.
As someone who's seen a lot of shit around these parts, if all you are going, I'd suggest you go together. But that's just my opinion. He kind of goes back to like washing the glass, and he like is putting shit up, and he's going through his talk.
Oh, I suppose we could rest around here for maybe about an hour. Then I gotta get back looking for the tears anyway.
You still ain't told me what that is.
I don't know what it is.
Great.
All I know is that Uncle told me that that's what I need to find, and once I find that, everything's going to be just fine.
Okay.
What are you currently doing, Vader?
He's thinking about how the tavern keep kind of sounded disappointing that they're not trafficking boys, and he's thinking of the implications of that.
Time to go on a side quest to uncover the hidden mystery of the sex trafficking small village.
Oh, hey, hang on. What's
Oh no.
fucking Joffrey Epstein in here? Anyway.
Anyway, I'm bad with names. What are you exactly?
Me?
No. Well, both of you, now that I think about it.
I don't
Gesturing
know.
the question to Santiago and
Cow-
other
cow-
friend.
Cowpoke.
Wanna be cowboy, baby.
I get your yeehaw
Guardian.
cowboy, but
Your name Cowpoke?
Sharpshooter.
I meant your race.
Oh.
And I assume you don't know what you are either.
I don't see race.
Well, I'm going to assume naturally that you're part horse.
Where'd you get that conclusion from?
Yeah, I have no idea where you got that from.
Who the
You just
fuck
can't
said
ask
that?
people if they're part horse.
Well, I assume you're part human, Lucas Lynn?
What?
Nothing.
Not gonna ask the creep in the trench coat staring at us what he is? Do you think he's
I mean,
part
he looks like
monkey?
an average Joe.
Are you part monkey?
Probably.
Oh, okay. He's part monkey.
The lumpy creep.
Lucas
Not
is kind
lumpy.
of bored on this conversation, so he's gonna pull out. He's gonna pull out the parchment he was writing on, and he's gonna continue kind of writing on it.
Well, if you are going, I'd suggest you get out of here before it gets too dark. The forest gets a little more lively at night.
I mean, boy, you've already been warned they're trafficking boys out in them there woods, so we want to wait the night and go in the morning.
But I figured we could do.
So the two of you think you're going to stay here for the night?
I'd
Lucas
rather
and
not
Santiago?
be trafficked. Even though I'd rather
Then don't get
sure not to be
trafficked.
shot. But I agree that that would probably be the best scenario.
So the two of you are going to be heading out in the morning. Kitka and Bader, what are you doing? Because you still have your own plans to go into the Creaking Timber as well.
Mm-hmm. I think I might stay and talk to Santiago and Lucas for a little bit, and then maybe like explore the woods just a tiny bit, not like getting into it, you know, but
Just like touch the outskirts.
yeah, see what's up.
What about you, Bador? What are your plans?
I guess I'll go with them.
You're gonna be heading out in the morning as well?
Yes.
Okay. I'm being called. Hold on. Please talk amongst yourselves while I'm taking this.
So you guys know how to read and write?
Yes, that's. Yeah, I do.
Somewhat.
Ooh.
Wow.
What do you mean? Wow.
Yeah.
Did you come all the way out
Yes,
to Boy
we
Trafficking
do.
Woods to find someone to teach you letters?
Oh, it's just that I don't. My mother never taught me how to read and write.
That
I'm
so?
sorry.
My mother is a giant snake. So
I'm glad North. Lucas is going. Lucas is just like petting his owl by now, who's in his lap.
Yeah, you got your brother around your neck there?
What?
a distant relative.
Mm.
Oh, Justin didn't answer my question earlier.
I would just assume you have the trident.
Oh, but it'd be so funny to almost get impaled by it, man. Okay.
Can your cousin around your
Do
neck
owls
there?
eat
Can he
snakes?
speak and read and write and such?
Ow.
What level?
He's a snake. I can speak to him, but his name is Buttercup.
I have a feeling it
he
can't
likes
read
flowers.
if they can't.
You name you. Well, I assume that's a normal thing, actually. That was a dumb question.
What? I didn't hear it.
Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I promise you, North won't eat Buttercup. She doesn't really like snakes too much.
I wasn't worried about it, but thank you.
So, I know horse.
Or
I'm bad at names. They probably have a name. I just am really bad at remembering them.
Yes, and a horse is such an odd name.
And you snake wing tiefling thing?
Flying serpent. Half. Thank you.
Your name.
Oh. Kit Kat.
You want to run that by us one more again?
Do you have a name?
Sounded a little uncertain there.
It's Kit Kat, but you can call me Kit Kat if you want to.
Are you part cat?
Kit
too?
Ka. Kit Ka.
Kit
Ka. I don't know if
Kat.
I'm going to remember that, but I will remember.
Oh my god. You can call me Kit Kat if that's easier.
Well, my name is Lucas, if anything.
Nice to meet you.
Is your uncle paying these two hooligans too?
I have no idea. All I know is about you, which was a very interesting surprise.
Oh.
I'm just taking a job.
Luke.
I mean, what do you usually do on jobs anyway? Like, you look like you know your way around gun like Mom would.
I stand around and look scary mostly.
I agree, you have that part down.
So, what are you guys going to do in the forest?
I need to go and find something my uncle asked me to go find. What was it? The Sorrow's Tears, I believe.
But she doesn't know what it is. Or how to get it.
Yes.
Or what it sort of thing it is.
I mean, Uncle didn't tell me. I don't really know.
The Sorrow's Tears?
I'm talking about the Sorrow's Tears.
Welcome back.
We were begging for you to come back. It's so
So what
awkward.
the
You'll
hell?
introduce each other.
Liquid or stone?
So when you're talking to each other and introducing each other, you should probably start off by who the fuck you guys are,
We did
and
that.
why you're trying to get into the Creaking Timber. Wow,
I was
that's
talking
impressive.
about the Sorrow's Tears in a normal volume.
How about the rest of you? Give at least some kind of reason for why
Oh, I
you're
don't think I
going.
said mine, but oh shit, my computer fell asleep.
We ain't gonna do.
Maybe set it to
Nice.
not do that.
I just have to jiggle the
Nice.
mouse every once
We
in a
did
while.
that.
Oh, should I say the reason I'm going?
You give as much as you want.
Oh well, they already know
but
my whole
it should be in
backstory at this
souls.
point, so
Tell me anyway. I forget.
okay. My mother told me that I need to get stronger, so I'm here to
Nice.
wrestle. That's it.
You're just here to fight things.
Yes.
One thing in particular,
There's
in case you don't remember.
A green bean mascot in the loose on the loose.
Green bean?
What do you mean green? Where are you from?
Like the
Tall
vegetable?
and green.
Where are you from?
Oh, 1 second, I forgot.
You're from the mist-ridden continent,
Yes.
specifically the swamps.
What the
Good.
disembodied voice said.
Wait.
Ooh.
Wait. You're from the Mist-Ridden, and you're talking about the Moss Giant.
Is that what its name is?
That's what it's commonly known as.
Oh, okay.
I mean, as long as you don't fuck with it, it shouldn't hurt
Fuck
you.
it, you said.
No, I did not say. I did not say that. I did not say that.
Okay.
Santiago, please tell me I did not say that. Look at that, I've learned your name already. Awesome.
Well, I mean, it sounds like they're here to fuck with it, not fuck it.
But the Moss Giant is in the northern part, towards the Mist-Ridden.
Whatever happens,
Oh.
happens. So I'm not,
What, Sam? The Moss Giant legend is in this forest. It's in the Creaking Timber.
I'm stupid, bro.
No, the Moss Giant legend is about the Creaking Timber. I don't think Bader's given a reason yet.
Yes, I'm just looking for old technologic artifacts.
That's, you would love to meet my father then.
Ooh.
What kind of technological artifacts? We have lots of older things and things I haven't really been able to put my hands on.
Specifically broken down Warforged.
What?
Probably fresh out of that on Ethereum.
Oh.
It's past 1 now. It's reaching 2 a little later then. And it's going to get dark a little quicker today. You guys are... seasons in this world aren't quite as impactful as they are in the real world. So, for instance, winter versus summer is only a matter of a few degrees. It really isn't a big thing. They are seasons, but they're very light, shall we say. Given the thing that there are seasons, though, it's technically spring currently, and it's getting a little dark already, especially early for spring.
Well, if y'all are coming, I gotta stay with the boy. We need to get out and start looking. If
If we're
You
going to
two
find
wanna-
what we're looking for.
wrestle and look for wharf, whatever.
Forged
Um,
and Moss Giants.
Kit Kat, your plan was to explore
Yeah.
the woods just a tiny little bit, wasn't it? When would you like to do that? About now, or?
Might as well go ahead and do it now. I mean, it's still daylight outside. Not that that really matters any.
Okay. The actual forest edge is about 30-minute walk from here, so not too long. You get there and back before
Okay.
it's too late.
Yeah, sure.
You gonna do it? Is anyone gonna go with them, or
Bored, so he's gonna go.
are you gonna let them do it themselves?
Where are you
He's kind of bored. Yeah, so he's gonna be like, let's fine, fuck it.
Oh, so everybody's coming.
Guess we're going then.
Are you going along with your
Yeah.
charge, Santiago? So, the four of you set out to get a kind of real quick recon at the edge of this forest. You've heard so much about it, all these tall tales and spooky stories, that I'm sure it can't nearly be as bad as it's been said. You walk for about 30 minutes, this kind of awkward silence you guys have created for yourselves. Anyway, but after about 25 minutes, reaching 30, you begin to approach the beginning of the tree line, and you kind of stop just short of it, where the trees start kind of popping up and they start getting thicker and thicker and thicker. You unconsciously just try and peer in between the thick trunks, between the pine trees, and though perhaps the whispering villagers see a slightly different wood than to those who did not grow up mired in tall tales and fear, the woods do certainly seem to have a certain atmosphere about them that is undeniable. Despite the sun still hanging high enough in the sky, the forest floor in front of you lies in darkness, only broken by light in small and inconsistent patches. Are you all going to enter?
Yeah?
Lucas is a little hesitant, but then he just kind of walks right in.
Reminds me of home.
As the four of you enter, you think you can hear it. Perhaps it is but your imagination, stirred by the whispers and legends you heard. But the sound, the almost sound, of a slow, laborious creaking can be heard. Wood shifting, as if it were stretching, twisting. You peer around to see the source of what this noise might be, but no such obvious answer can be found. The trees stand tall and resolute, but they move no more than trees do. But even so, if it is not your imagination, then something is turning, stretching, looking, peering. You're quite close to a small stream or river. It's about 30 feet across. You all know to some degree that this river continues upwards towards the north. It originates in the mountains of Spiderhead, and it comes down to rest somewhere in the creaking timber. The soft, bubbling, gurgling creek makes little noises. It's quite talkative as it kind of rushes over the rocks. You currently are only on the outside edge, but there's something special about this forest. You can immediately tell. Despite the thick pine tree leaves creating an almost canopy, a shield from the sun, the soil itself is dark. It's fertile, and looking down at it, you can almost feel that it has history inside of it. Do you all head further in, or what are you doing?
Can I? When you say the wood is like twisting, is that just like paranoia, or can we literally like not see our fucking tracks from where we came from?
No. It feels as it is. You're not entirely sure. It feels as though it may be just your imagination. You've heard so many tall tales, stories, and legends about this place about trees that turn and move to look at those who come in. But looking around the trees now, it seems to be just a normal wood. Even so, in the back of your mind, you can hear that. It's not so much like the trees are standing up and walking around. It's more like it feels like the trees are turning to look at you.
Yeah, I'm just following my boy, but like keeping track of things to make sure we can get back out before it gets too dark.
I'm asking how far you all are heading in.
I wouldn't say more than like a mile, really, because if we're going to be walking back before it gets dark, we don't want to get, lost or anything.
Are you trying to find a trail? Are you going to be following the stream? What are you doing?
Streams are always good,
Definitely.
We should probably follow the trail, the stream.
You make your way alongside this bubbling creek. Well, it's a little more than a creek. You estimate it to be about 30 feet across, a riverbank of sorts. You can't quite tell how deep it is. It seems to fluctuate as you're walking along. The stream is not rapid in any definition of the word. It's quite a calm one. You could probably wade your way across if you really needed to, for whatever reason. Following alongside the riverbank as well, small flowers grow, which helps perforate the greenery around you with yellows and purples of lavenders and daffodils. The stream bubbles and moves somewhat stiffly, small rocks occasionally jutting out from the moving water like tiny sunken ships. You estimate... Are you following it for about a mile or so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Creek Timber isn't a terribly large place, and if you're trying to just head in and follow the stream, it doesn't go too far in. And after about 20 minutes, almost at the end of your mile walk, you come across something a little interesting. I'm going to be posting it in the world map chat, okay?
Okay.
Let me find it.
So, quick question.
What's up?
Is there anything of interest in the creek or anything like that? Because I have... Ooh.
Aaron?
Oh, I want to what?
Do you want to take a look in?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I with my barbarian thing, I can breathe underwater, so...
I'm mostly interested in that little house, so I imagine Lucas would immediately head off towards that. No warnings.
Okay. Let me describe this house.
Great. Oh my god.
Then we'll talk about your little stream excursion, Kit Kat. So, during your trek, the four of you enter into a large clearing, following alongside the stream. It looks as though once in the past many trees were here, but were all chopped down at one point, evidenced really by a couple of rotting and decayed, long-gone stumps, still just barely holding onto their form. Only now you can see young and budding trees dotting the clearing, attempting to retake the land. Most notably, however, is the splash of color amongst the primarily green forest. Blue, faded, lost, and dull, but there. The tiles that make up the color barely hang on to decrepit wooden beams, the make of this small hut rotting, for likely some time now. Moving into a better position along downside the stream, it's obvious to see that the floors have long since rotted out, sections of the roof and wall having caved in some time ago. Lucas, you're heading towards the house. Kitka, you're about to investigate the stream. What is Bador and Santiago doing?
Gonna head towards the house as well.
Okay. Santiago?
I imagine Santiago's annoyed already because Lucas is running off.
Yeah, I was literally just trying to figure out how much sunlight we had left, and I look back over and you're just fucking sprinting, and I'm like, God, fucking
I'm not sprinting, but I'm definitely walking fast.
You're like, hey Lucas, do you think it's about time we start? Oh, he's gone.
Dust cloud.
Poof, gone.
So, are you heading with them, Santiago? Kitka, you can see, is looking into the stream.
Don't just run in there, boy.
Not paying attention.
Are you stepping into the stream immediately, or are you going to be peering in first?
Fucking go for it, I guess. I'm gonna
jump in?
I'm gonna set Buttercup down on the side. As, but yes, I'm gonna cannonball, man.
The three of you are heading towards the house when suddenly you hear a loud sploosh from behind you. Glancing behind to see the source of the loud noise, Kitka is gone. replaced by a small, tiny winged serpent flapping wildly in the air, looking down curiously into the stream, where you can see a large ripple emanating out from this particular source. Kit Kat, you've just dived into the stream. However, you can breathe underwater. You also have swimming speed. The stream underwater, as you start to sink down, are you going all the way to the bottom?
Sure.
You kind of let yourself sink all the way to the bottom, where you can feel this strong current rushing over you, pushing you back. Current you're easily able to push back against, but it's still much stronger than you expected down inside of it. Can you very quickly roll me?
Oh god.
I suppose.
First roll.
Excuse me.
Swimming be like an athletics?
Roll me. It's not really swimming. They have a swimming speed, which means they aren't really swimming themselves. Roll me perception, real quick.
Oh god. Alright, I'm rolling my physical dice, and then I'll tell you guys what I get. That's a 6.
Nice.
Plus?
That's it.
Plus anything?
6. No, it's my 5 plus
you
1.
sink down into the murky depths. At the top, this stream looks quite clear, and it looks very clear and very clean, but as you sink down, it gets muddier and muddier before you finally land on the bottom of the stream, kicking up a lot of mud around you. The dirt kind of flies up, and it kind of obstructs your vision for a minute before the dirt starts swirling around you in a strange way. You'd expect it to be almost immediately pulled off by the stream, but it's not. You're not sure why. You can almost feel something in the water looking at you. And Lucas, Santiago, and Theodore. 3 of you are heading towards this old, decrepit hut. It's quite large. It looks to be about 2 stories, you wager, and very, very, very old. The wood is rotting, collapsing. It's a miracle, really, a miracle of miracles that the entire thing hasn't become just a pile of dirt by now. You have no idea how old it is because of that. The wood itself looks like it could be much older than it should, but the fact that the building is still staying up kind of indicates a little bit differently. As you approach a little closer, about halfway there from the stream, a light humming reaches your ears as you step away from the talkative and gurgling riverbank. Alongside this small and forgotten hut hides a small and forgotten cemetery, something you can see on your left, right next to the hut if you look up on the map. You estimate there are not more than 10 graves, likely less. But what really catches your eye is an old woman, about in her 40s, so an older woman, about in her 40s, who seems to be the source of the light musical notes. You see her tending softly to one of the graves, and you watch as her hands pull several weeds away from one of the gravestones, while brushing off a little bit of dirt, almost attempting to stave off the passage of time. Her hands seem much older than the rest of her, tired and hard from long years of work and stress, almost visible lines from her wringing together. She hasn't noticed you all yet, as she's currently just trying to take care of this old, forgotten cemetery.
Boy, this
Nothing
might be
here.
private property. Just a warning, you can still go run in there, but I'll be sitting back here when you get yelled at.
Fine. And I'm going to continue kind of walking towards this like decrepit house.
You gonna ignore the woman for now? You make your way towards the hut, making your way a little closer and closer. As you get closer, you're seeing a lot more signs of a little bit more recently chopped stumps. They're still rotting. They're still very, very, very old. But there are a little bit more around here, which indicates that perhaps they were cut a little bit later than the rest of the clearing. The house itself, can you roll me a quick history check?
Hell yeah, I can.
Just real quick, Justin, I'm keeping my eye on that woman who may or may not be some kind of specter or fae.
Okay. Can you roll me? I'll give you a choice here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can roll me Arcana. You can roll me Arcana, Insight, Perception, or if you want to get closer, investigation.
I'm just
Lob me
watching.
that 24.
24? Okay.
Lob me that 24.
Why you roll so good?
19 plus 5, baby!
What were you saying, Santiago?
I'm just watching. Hey, guess who rolled a 2?
Just an old woman, as far as you
You-
can tell. She looks maybe a little bit more like the mist-ridden in like ethnicity, I suppose you could say, which in our terms is a little bit more Asian, not like explicitly so, but similar features. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Bader, what are you doing while the two of these people are doing what they're doing?
Hmm. I might also investigate this house. Probably
You're the
I'm not
one
gonna.
as well, behind Lucas.
Mhm.
Okay, Len, you can tell looking up at the house that it's
Did
very old.
you call me Len?
What's your name?
My name's Lucas, you disembodied voice.
You got a last name, honey.
Got
Like
two.
most of the characters. Sam, looking up at this house with your Arcana check, or history check, excuse me, which is very old.
Yeah, my
You can
24.
tell it is a very, very old house.
Is there
You're
any,
not exactly a connoisseur of architecture and design in that sort of sense, but even you can tell that this is a much older design than most things that are used in like places. Of course, that it could be entirely contributable to the fact that it looks very much homemade. Like someone built this themselves. Someone chopped down the trees in this clearing and built this house themselves.
does it look like it's lived in?
Oh, once upon a time, very, very long time ago.
Does
You
it
can
look
see
like
remnants.
anybody lives in it now?
Impossible. Getting a little closer, you can see that the floors themselves have long since caved out. Instead of wooden floors and walls, there's just large holes where there once should have been. The ground itself is just covered in what was once the wall. There is no second floor anymore. You can just see rotting holes and pieces of the wood that obviously has been forgotten for a very long time now.
Consulting anyone else, because that's how we roll. Lucas is going to go in, and when he goes into this house as best he can, he said there's like no second floor, as in like it's fallen apart.
It has long since collapsed. There's not a door, there's not a second floor, there's barely a first floor. Looking at this thing, you're afraid it's going to collapse if you touch any part of it.
Well, I want to like at least poke my head in or like see inside of it in any way.
Okay. And we'll jump right back to you. Kid Kai, you're currently under the water with this mud and this dirt swirling around you. The water itself, the current doesn't feel quite right. There's not a lot of water in this world, it's not large bodies, but the few that you've been in, you've always managed or always made sure to at least explore, given your abilities. This one doesn't feel quite right. You've been in streams before, you've been in rivers, and typically the current flows in one direction, as water should. However, in this, it feels like it's surrounding you. Roll me an insight.
Inside.
Or athletics or insight, whichever is.
Oh god, athletics is so much better.
Okay, and tell me, so you're using athletics. Okay.
Well, my athletics is a +5, so. One second.
If they're busy, then we'll jump over to Santiago. And we'll jump back when Kid Kai gets back. Santiago, you're currently looking at the old woman. Are you trying to be subtle about it, or are you just watching to make sure?
I'm just watching. If she doesn't notice me, fine. If she does notice me, I'm real big. But I don't think that's a human person.
She pulls up a basket, one you hadn't seen before, and pulls out what looks to be a bundle of flowers, roses, which you haven't seen any of in this forest yet. So they're probably not indigenous to this area. And she places it on one of the graves, the largest one in the cemetery. It's also the cleanest, and from what you can tell, you could roll me a quick You don't have to roll me for this, actually. It's fine. It looks considerably newer than the others. It's still old, it's still ancient, it's still falling apart, it's still covered in plants and leaves, but a little less than the others. Either she takes care of this one more, or someone takes care of this one more, or it was made when it was relative. As she does so, she kind of stands back up, wrings her hand, what almost seems to be a very, very accustomed habit, where she turns and sees you. As she does, there's a little bit of a surprise in her eyes that quickly fades into a smile, and she starts walking her way towards you.
Sorry to intrude on your memorial here, ma'am. I'm bodyguarding this boy over here. You want to investigate this rusted up house over here? We don't mean no trouble, just having a look around.
Oh, no, it's perfectly fine. I believe you may have many visitors to these parts, all seeing this old relic of the past, all wondering its history, none ever being able to know. Take your time, as much as you wish. She kind of walks up next to you, and she kind of stands next to you and notices Lucas there as well with Bader near the house. And she kind of stands next to you before turning and watching them as well, with a little bit of a smile on her face. She looks at you like in the corner of her eye, but she doesn't say anything when she looks back to looking at Lucas, standing next to you.
You live out here? You just got kin buried out here?
I had family out here once, in a certain sense. And I lived out here for a short time as well. But it won't be much longer now. I'm currently waiting for my husband to return. He's away at war, you know.
Oh, hang on.
You good, Maya? I think Maya's busy as well. Let's keep happening.
Yeah, mom just got home.
Oh, okay.
I'm back, by the way. I know you guys were doing something, so.
Then we'll jump back to you, Kit Kat, and then we're going to jump to Lucas and Bader, okay?
Okay.
Kit Kat, back to what we were saying.
Yes.
You rolled a what on your athletics?
I didn't get to roll. My mom came in. She had asked me a question.
No. Go ahead and roll.
Okay. So that's it's a 9.
You try and resist it, but the currents are getting stronger and stronger. You start being pushed backward and forward, and tossed around a little. And it started to get a little more aggressive, I suppose you could say. It almost makes you think cats batting something back and forth in its paws, if that makes sense. What do?
I guess I'm gonna go up because I can't drown, but I certainly would not want to be trapped.
But then the current grabs you almost and it pulls you back down. But at the same time, it doesn't feel malicious, if that makes sense. It almost feels playful in a strange way. Again, like a cat batting its prey back and forth. But maybe instead of prey, maybe it's just a toy. Roll me another perception check.
Alright. 11.
That's enough because by now you would have noticed. A face passes in front of yours. Like right in front of yours. And then it's gone in a flash. You turn and you look and another current rushes past you and it almost feels like the silk of a dress. And another one passes by you and you see what looks to be a man's face. And suddenly you realize that all these faces are made of the current around you. The current itself is almost alive, like there's spirits drawing in a stream, circling around you, almost playfully batting.
Shit's haunted.
You notice something in the mud, just barely sticking out, shining with
Mhm.
tiny little bits of ray of sun that pierce through the river. Could you remember?
Sure.
Roll me another athletics to try and get to the current.
Oh my god. That's a 13.
You manage to push the current as best you can, your swim speed 100% helping with this. And after you get past a certain level point, the current suddenly lets up, and suddenly it's just a normal current again. And you have a feeling that whatever was playing with you has traveled down the stream. You reach down and you grab onto the handle of what you thought you saw and pull it up. And it seems to be an old, shiny axe, which is weirdly preserved beneath the water. It looks like this was maybe once used for cutting down trees and such.
Okay.
Just so you know, it only does a d6 of damage, so it's not great. But it uses your strength proficiency if you want to use it. You can. It's just a normal axe as far as you can tell. Do you want to keep it or you want to put it back in the stream?
I mean, I might as well keep it. I mean, somebody else might want it, or we could sell it, you know?
Yeah. It's in very good condition for being under the water. You don't really see much rust. You don't really see much tear. It looks like almost it was made only a couple weeks ago.
Cool.
What do you do? Do you swim in the stream?
I guess I'm gonna see if I can see anything else interesting, and then I'm gonna go back up.
Okay. Looking around, you don't see much more besides some maybe shiny rocks or a few fish that kind of dart around you.
Oh, the rocks.
Oh shit. You go for a rock?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of rock are you trying to pick up here? So you're trying to pick up something shiny? You're trying to pick up something that would skip well?
Rock.
Rock.
Just like
the
shiniest thing I see.
You pick up what you think is a shiny rock. Like it's definitely something. It's not. You don't think it's anything special, but it's probably like some kind of. It's quite shiny though. It'll probably do pretty well in the sun.
Hell yeah.
You gonna swim up there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
As you swim upwards, one of the water's current spirits, or whatever it was, kind of brushes by you one last time. But it doesn't bother you. It continues to swim down the stream as well. You quickly rise to the surface and break out of the water. Lucas and Beto, are you still here? Okay. What are you two doing?
Like I said, I was peeking into the house, and I was just trying to look into it in any way possible.
Roll me. Are you doing this as well, Beto?
Investigation check?
No, not investigation.
Looking into the house?
Roll me. You can roll me a few things here. You can roll me Arcana, Investigation, Insight, or Perception. Whichever one's your highest.
Those I'm good at, so it doesn't really matter.
You hear me, Beto?
Yeah, I heard you.
Give me a 24
A 24?
on Arcana.
For what? Arcana? I guess I'll do investigation then. That is a 19.
You have investigation, Sean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The both of you peek in and you rummage around a little bit. You're afraid if you touch any of the walls too much, it'll probably collapse. You, especially Beto, can tell that this place is incredibly structurally just pathetic.
Yeah.
Lucas, you're a little bit more bold, however, and you dig around a little bit and you realize something. This place has a certain magical energy about it. Beto, you can tell this place is ancient. Looking closer, you can see remnants of clothing that was used hundreds of years ago. You can see wood and like architectural styles that haven't been used in a very, very long time. And Lucas, you can just kind of tell that this place, there's something really odd about it that's almost keeping it alive. If that makes sense, keeping it in this state where it's still decaying, it's still falling apart, but maybe a lot slower than it really should be.
Lucas is very interested. In the moment he senses magic, he is like, like out loud, and then he's like really trying to get into this place.
There's not much to get into. The entire place is falling and collapsing. If you head too far in, it might collapse on top of you.
I'm gonna walk around the perimeter of the house and see if there's anything else interesting.
Roll me investigation. And what are you doing, Milo?
What's Lucas doing?
I'm walking around the perimeter of the house looking for anything else interesting. You also just heard me gasp really loudly.
I'm gonna ask you why you gasped real loud.
This is magical. Something new. I love it. And then I imagine while Lucas is walking around, he's got north, he's like, north, here, just, hold this. And then, he hands her, a scroll and a quill to hold on to.
It kind of, clicks at you with its beak, and then it kind of grabs it.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Like I said, I'm investigating. So I gotta roll.
Bader, can you roll me a perception check?
Perception? What
Yeah.
is my perception?
19.
Okay.
Kid K, are you still here?
That's also a 19.
Ace.
Can you roll me perception as well?
Oh god.
That was a what, Sean?
What
was it, Sean?
Both of us rolled a 19.
Not you, Sam. You gotta roll investigation.
I know, I rolled a 19.
Okay, so both of you rolled a 19, and what does Kit Kat roll like?
I'm rolling. It's a 10.
10.
Kit Kat, you don't notice anything. You're currently at the stream. You're a little confused with what just happened.
Rocks.
However, you might notice Bador noticing something. Bador, you hear something inside the woods, past the tree line. Oh, excuse me. Hold on. Oh, I got my body. But you hear something past the woods in the tree line. You're not sure what it is, but you hear almost like something large and heavy is taking footsteps. You can hear the rustling of branches and leaves as something is pushing through the forest, something large.
That doesn't seem good.
Kika, you probably notice Bador looking off into the forest. You don't know what he's looking at yourself, but you can tell that he's noticed something.
Okay.
Lucas, when this is happening, you rolled a 19 on your investigation?
Yeah, I'm looking around the perimeter of the house since I can't get in it, and I'm looking for anything interesting or any, openings to anything else.
It looks like there was maybe once a cellar a very long time ago, but a large section of the earth that you're walking on suddenly dips down, so you can pretty much tell that cellar has long since completely caved in. Looking around, you see like an old, very, 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 very old gravestone. One that looks a little more roughly crafted, I suppose, than the ones in the graveyard near the house, and also it looks much older.
Can we look at it?
Sure. You kind of reach down and you brush off some of the leaves outside. This is in a language you don't know.
What you think? I can read it. Eyes of the Runekeeper, motherfucker.
It's true. Okay, roll me a comma.
Justin already trying to fucking tell me I can't read shit.
Can't read.
Fuck
The
you,
magic
am I right?
book.
Fuck you, my eyes are a book. Give me that dirty 20. 15 plus 5.
This The words inscribed on this headstone have long since been rubbed away by years of time and rain and growth. But feeling over the bumps, you can make out just a few of the letters. It looks to be a name of some sort. Dilla something? You can't really tell much about it.
Can you type out the letters I do understand?
Sure.
Justin, did I hear that thumping too?
I'd say you're close enough. Yeah, sure. You definitely notice. You definitely notice. You definitely can. You definitely notice Bador. There's something in the woods. Santiago.
But did I hear the
Santiago. Roll me perception.
Okay. I didn't. I was hoping you'd just say yes. I just want to roll good.
And when you roll it some, give it some of that happy, positive energy like I do, and you'll roll good.
I did.
The dice sense happiness.
I got an 11.
You notice Bador has noticed
Plus?
something. I think that is the plus.
That was plus.
That's sad. Maya, you notice that Bador noticed something. You do as well, Kit Kong. Are the two of you going to go up to him and see what he noticed?
Sure.
It's sure, like, are you or are you not?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Santiago?
Are you still Santiago or are you staying by the way?
I'm gonna stay back. I'm gonna ask this woman, what sort of man is your husband? You say it was a warrior?
No, I wouldn't call him a warrior. He was drafted like many others were. He was a simple woodsman. A hunter in some of his spare time. No, he was a woodsman.
Do I know about a war where there was drafting?
Never. No. This land hasn't seen wars in a while. Because the whole world government thing has kind of kept a very tight hand on everything that goes on. So in general, there really haven't been any wars in recent history. Okay. At least ones that are large and impactful require drafting like that. You pass by Santiago, curious as to what Bador is seeing. Walking up near him, Bador, you still hear that. It's somewhere close by, almost like it's circling the clearing you're in. You can kind of follow it with your senses, but the woods distort the sound a little too much to really tell where it's coming from. You'd have to actually step into the tree line to try and see where it is, or what it is.
That ain't happening.
You've come up next to him. You don't hear this yourself, but Bador looks very intently concentrated on something just past the tree line.
Bador, what is it that you're hearing or seeing or whatever?
I love it. Don't diss it. It's beautiful.
There's something stomping around out there in the woods.
When he says that, you kind of expect to hear it alone as well, and you hear along with the rustling of tree leaves. A few birds flap off from the nearby tree line a little bit to your right, giving you a kind of sort of idea where it might be as the trees shake a little bit.
Oh, that's interesting. By the way, the river's haunted.
Oh, the river's haunted too?
Yes, it is. You tried to drown me.
Good.
You're back early. River's haunted. What? Grabs gun. River's haunted.
Moon's haunted.
What?
You tried to drown me, but you know.
Oh, okay. The river's haunted.
Yes. Moon's haunted. What? Moon's haunted.
I'll go into the river, please.
Okay.
Boy, we need to go.
You don't actually know where he is?
Hey, boy, come on. We've disturbed this woman's trying to lay her family to rest. We should go. Give her some respect, give her some privacy.
Do you even know where I am?
I'm just shouting.
Something's looking at you all.
That's not good.
Lucas kind of freezes in place.
I have my rifle drawn.
Yeah, I got.
See this enormous form made up of grass and branches and wood, of leaves and tree parts, with this strange mask on its head. It looks almost like an oversized human skull, with large buck antlers coming out of the top of it. All the while, almost a sap-like water substance coming out of the holes in the mask, peering at you. Let me send you a picture of what it looks like.
Oh, I can't not romance him.
Dang it! Aaron is upset.
Is this the green bean?
Yeah.
It's the green giant, y'all!
By the way, Kit Kat is absolutely just soaking wet because he just jumped in with all of his clothes on.
Oh yeah, you are still dripping with water.
Just dripping.
Lucas is kind of frozen in place, I'd imagine.
I put it in the art and pictures chat.
Hell yeah, bro.
Huge.
And I
Boing.
imagine, like, I remember you telling me that this thing won't hurt you if you don't fuck with it. So Lucas stays completely still.
From what you've heard, this thing is almost like a gentle giant, as far as you've heard.
Yeah, so Lucas just he
it.
gently stands up and stays in place.
Beside it, through the tree line, there's another set of footsteps. This one doesn't sound humanoid. It's not 1, 2. It sounds like maybe 4 feet. Coming up beside this great giant is a wolf of similar proportions, of similar material, except without the skull mask. It walks up next to it before laying down on its haunches, sitting right next to the giant, peering at all of you as well. What do you all do?
Completely still. Kind of mostly just taking it in.
Come on.
Behind the house.
Right now, it's just staring at you guys.
Is this a friend of your husband, man?
She doesn't say anything. She's just looking at it.
Okay.
Justin, did you draw this?
I did.
Draw that.
It's so good. Anyway, back to being terrified.
It's currently just staring at you all. And the viscous, water-like, sap-like substance that's coming out of its mask just seems to endlessly pour from the eye holes, dripping down, falling onto its leaves and its grass, getting soaked into itself.
How close is it to me?
You're quite a distance away. You're probably like 50 feet or so. It is right in the edge of the tree line, and it is just perfectly still, like it's a tree itself.
Wait, the tree line is in like the tree line that's closest to the house, or like the tree line as far as like I can see?
What do you mean?
Because so it's like I'm asking about like the tree line is like as far as I can see.
You can see it.
Okay, I worded my question bad.
I don't know what you're trying to ask, man.
What are you all doing? It's currently like perfectly still, just watching you all.
I'm just trying to get fucking my boy back the fuck up.
Are you trying to move to Lucas, or are you trying to talk to him? What are you doing?
Well, I'm also like not near Santiago.
I'm beside you. Santiago's gone.
Come on, boy.
Lucas is gonna, like, gingerly walk around from behind the house as slow as possible.
The moss giant stands up a little bit more.
He stops.
Not good.
What are you doing, Kitka? You're right next to Bader, both of you are right in front of it.
I am looking.
Just little hearts in your eyes.
Lucas is kind of like mouthing to Santiago, "Don't move. It won't hurt you."
Can Bader and Kitka, you two are closest to it. Can both of you roll me a perception check real quick?
Oh,
Yeah.
I've had to roll so much. What's so much rolling?
D&D,
Well, that's
baby.
a
It's
1.
true. Wow.
What did
Sean
you get?
critically failed.
Oh, that's
Oh,
nat
wow.
20.
Bader, you're pretty sure that's just a tree. You're pretty sure that's just a tree.
Oh, okay.
It's just fine. Yeah, it's just a bush you didn't notice.
A tree.
Okay.
Kitka, there is dried blood on its stump foot and the edge of its axe. Not a lot, but there is blood.
Hmm.
It's there.
Interesting.
I'm literally mouthing to Santiago
It turns.
and anyone else that can see me, and just
Slowly.
mouthing, "Do not move."
It turns, body twisting and creaking with noises of old trees. The roots that make up its body twisting for it. And it walks away, deeper into the woods. The wolf sits and watches you all before it stands as well. Turn and follow its master.
Lucas gives it a minute before he starts walking again.
Okay.
Get what you was looking for, boy?
Me? I
Yeah,
have no idea what it was looking for.
was
It
sitting
apparently must have been looking at us, though.
The
And I think my
woman is back
movement.
in the graveyard,
I
pulling
think
it
my
more
movement.
to herself.
And I think my movement might have startled it a little bit.
There's
But as
some-
long as you don't, like, mess with it, it won't hurt you.
I feel like maybe that was the warning. I feel like maybe poking around more it will be considered messing with whatever the proverbial it is here.
Well, I didn't touch anything. All I did was, like, touch a gravestone, and I couldn't even read half of it.
So you,
Really decrepit.
you did touch something.
Well, I did touch something, and I didn't touch something. Let's not talk about the semantics on that one, shall we?
Learned reading.
Hmm?
She's going around touching graves?
Well, I couldn't see what it said.
Creepy haunted forest? Oh my god.
Imagine being able to read.
I told you before, I'm not scared of much.
Well, I'm scared of you dying.
Well, that's sweet of you, but I promise, as I've told you many times, I do not need a babysitter. I can handle myself.
I'm a bodyguard.
Same difference.
No, nothing. Babysitters don't carry rifles.
How do you know that?
I babysat before and I carried a rifle and I got in trouble. Anyway.
My mom babysat and she carried a rifle.
Oh, well, that's good for your mom.
That's your mom.
She threatened to shoot the baby when it cried. The baby didn't listen.
Oh.
Why are you?
In the
You are soaking wet, kid.
I think that's what that splash was earlier.
The river's haunted.
What do you mean the river's haunted?
There's ghosts in the river.
Loads gun.
Interesting.
Also, what a hunk, am I right?
What a trunk, if you know what I mean.
Joke, you bitch! You stole my joke!
You know, run that one more again. What you just said with your mouth.
Got stole by a voice.
What happened? Who are you talking to, Maya?
Fucking Kit Kat.
Can you repeat what you said?
I said, do you wanna say that one more time? Those words you said with your mouth.
What a hunk.
I know that. Okay.
The river haunted, apparently.
I don't
Chris
want to know.
kind of like
I don't know
walking
what
towards the
did,
river.
but I feel like we found
Don't
things that have been snatching the
go
boat in here.
They're
in
gonna
that
drown
river.
you.
Nope.
Don't go in the river.
Nope.
Don't go in the river.
No, I'm not going. I'm not going in the river. I just want to go look at it.
You touched creepy gravestones in the haunted woods with the Fey woman ghost thing over there.
What?
You got intelligible.
I'm walking towards the river.
No, stop. Don't go.
Just
But we have to go back near the river. That's our way out.
Don't go in the river.
I
If
told
you're
you I
walking
wasn't going
towards-
in the river. I want to go look at the river.
But just so you guys know, the woman is back at the graveyard pulling up flowers almost in the exact same way she was when you first saw her.
Oh.
She's in some kind of weird loop, and you just want to keep touching graves.
Trying to think about what.
Hey, you looking for tears or something? That thing was crying, wasn't it? Go get some of
That's
that.
what it's called. I highly doubt it's that. Listen, who is that? And he's pointing towards the old woman.
She's not. Don't. I don't want to talk to her again. She said something about a war. If there's ever
Would I
been
have known anything about a war, Justin?
100 years.
No,
Not even with a roll, sadly.
you would not know.
Sad.
You should know it's turning night soon. I'd suggest you get somewhere a little safer for the night. Looking up, you guys realize that, yeah, it's a lot later in the day.
Oh. We should head back.
Yeah, alright, come on. Come on, boy.
It's turning dark currently.
No, come on, boy, we're going.
The old woman stands up at her graves, and she points downstream towards the direction you guys were initially headed. And she says, "The village is just 10 minutes that way. But it's your choice either way. Be safe. Not all of us can be."
Or whatever you do, don't give her a name. Let's go. Come on. Take them, boys. Just take them, boys.
Where are you going?
Lucas is like looking into the river while they're walking.
Sure, you can. Roll me a perception.
Something else I'm good at.
Are you guys heading upstream or downstream? Upstream is back towards the outside of the village, but it's going to take you like 30 minutes maybe to get back just to the outside of the thing, and then another 20 minutes to get to the village. Downstream is where the woman pointed, and she said that was 10 minutes away.
No, we're going the way we came.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going the way we can.
What did you roll, Lucas?
15.
You think? You're not sure, but when you were peering into the moving stream, you thought something smiled at you, but it was probably just your imagination.
Can I stop and kind of like bend down and look at the river a little closer for a moment?
Don't stick
What?
your
What are
face.
you
Just water.
doing?
Actually, if you're bending down and looking, are you like, how close are you getting?
I'm like bending, like I'm not getting like super close, but I am like bent down like on my knees. Like
The fact that he asked for clarification.
You're about. What's Lucas's strength?
don't worry
Or
about
dex?
My dex
you
is pretty
bend down a
good.
little closer,
Okay.
it.
getting
I'm not
down
like
onto your
touching you.
knees,
I'm just looking.
looking into the water, when suddenly the river in front of you erupts, and this person erupts out of it. Their body, their skin made of flowing water, leaping directly at you, before planting a ginger kiss on your forehead, giggling, and falling back into the stream.
Okay. Okay, well, our spirits.
Okay.
You're good for snatching boys and kissing them.
No, settles that. Come on, let's go. That was fun.
So you guys are heading upstream. It's going to take you about an hour to
What's
get
that
back
dice
to
roll?
Lucas is just
What?
smiling and laughing.
What's
That's your
that?
dice. That's your dice roll.
What are you talking about? It must have been Maya. Anyway,
Yeah, Lucas is just smiling as he walks. He's
River-
he's like, oh, cool river entity.
River's a pedo. Grab shotgun. River's
The river's got a pedophile in it. What? The river's got a pedophile in it.
Gotta burn the river.
Where is my charts? Give me a second. I gotta find something.
You don't need a chart.
No reason why.
You don't
Justin,
need a
you
chart.
don't need a chart.
I do though.
No, you don't.
I do, but
Somebody lied to you.
no, I'm pretty sure I do gotta have a chart.
Mm-mm.
Where is it?
Can we clarify that I am now soaking wet?
It's on the forehead.
Yeah, but it also erupted.
Triangle.
Oh, good.
That's fine. The water
they're
just
also
slides off.
erupting on the boys. Wonderful.
Santiago, what's wrong?
As you all
You
are
seem very,
walking
very tense.
by the river stream,
Yeah, a little bit. You keep sticking your finger.
can everyone actually speed things up a little bit? Can everybody send me their natural perception in?
Why do you want us to send it to you?
Just send me in like the important NPCs chat for now.
Mm.
Just send me your natural perception, so I don't have to ask you to constantly roll. No reason why. I'm just curious.
I feel like there's a reason.
Peter, you were the only one who noticed. As you're walking beside the stream, you notice a pair of beady eyes looking at you, belonging to a very large figure, an owl bear.
Oh no, there's an owl bear.
A what?
It's not attacking, but it's watching you guys. And can you roll me insight or animal handling, whichever's higher?
Like something. What's my insight or animal handling?
Yeah, whichever's higher.
Okay, that's a 9.
It's just watching you. You're not entirely sure why.
He's pointed it out to us now, right?
Yeah, you could point it out to us.
Yeah, there's an owl bear watching us.
Would I know how they behave normally?
Justin, would I know anything about owl bears?
You can both roll me nature or animal handling.
Yeah, if I'm good at nature.
Animal handling.
What aren't you good at?
24!
Sammy, I gave it the good vibes, and I still rolled an 8, but it's +4.
You gotta kiss it. You gotta kiss it.
Okay, I'll kiss it next time.
24.
Maya?
Mm-hmm.
What did you roll?
It was a
12.
That's not bad.
Not terrible.
It's above 10.
You have no idea. You have no idea, Santiago. However, Lucas, you know a couple things about owl bears. They tend to be very territorial. Sometimes they could be tamed, normally by either stronger creatures or a larger number of creatures. And they tend to not stalk out their prey, but they're just basically very territorial. And if you get too close to where they consider their territory, they will attack.
Oh,
They're not the smartest creature.
I suggest we don't get close and we just continue walking. Those things are completely territorial, and while they may or may not, I don't quite remember, they may or may not stalk out their prey.
There's the sound of like rustling leaves and shifting grass, and another slightly smaller owl bear, like slightly smaller, comes up next to them. Yeah, you all see it. It's right there.
Oh, and it's
and
a
it
mom.
kind of walks up next to the other one. You don't think this is a child? This might be a mate.
Could be a mom. It could be
there's
another
two.
one.
Are you all going to try and avoid it? Or are you going to engage it? What are you doing?
No,
I'm gonna avoid it.
Avoid.
Owl bear mating. No.
Okay. All of you roll me you can roll me. What are you all trying to do to avoid it? Describe that to me first.
Just
calmly walk away.
Just
How
sit.
you
Don't.
like a real bear? Like you just
What
kind
am
of how you deal with like a real bear.
Mhm.
You walk
Okay.
away slowly.
You T-pose on it.
T-pose.
You guys can roll me a number of checks. This can be a performance check, a survival check, an animal handling check, or a stealth check.
I'm gonna kiss it this time, Sammy.
Hey, Aaron.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
That's
The water spirit came out of the river and kissed my forehead.
Oh, how come I didn't get a forehead kiss? That's not fair.
Maybe you did.
We're currently trying to walk away from an owl bear, which may or may not kill us, depending.
The kiss worked.
The kiss worked.
Well, we know Maya's
What
strategy.
are we adding, Justin?
A number of things. Your stealth, animal handling, survival, or I think it was performance.
I had 22 on animal handling.
That's a 19.
That's a 13 on survival.
That's a 19 on stealth, by the way.
Okay, and you should probably roll as well, Kika.
Yeah, we're trying to avoid getting mauled by an owl bear and
Let's roll
or
it.
its child and or it's our
Also
potential mate.
That was a 13 stealth.
Okay. That was a pretty bad roll by a couple of you people, but it was a combined roll, so I would say it's just barely enough. You all kind of like step back, and for an instant, the owlbear like starts rushing forward. Like it takes a few steps towards you guys, and it lets out this really deep, like, just like a consistent, almost hum as you guys are slowly backing up from it. And as you're backing up, it's slowly walking towards you guys. It's not making any progress. It's like purposely walking at the same speed you guys are, and just basically following you as you guys are walking backwards slowly. Its mate comes along as well, and the two owlbears are basically just stalking you at this point, keeping perfectly in pace with your guys' speed and just following you along the riverbank.
Lucas is quietly saying, or maybe they're stalking their prey.
Okay.
Why don't you get on the side of me that is not got an owl bear? Yeah, put.
Are they behind us?
Lucas, even though he doesn't want to, he is going to do what Santiago says.
Okay. So, how are you guys positioning yourselves?
Oh, we have a map?
No, I'm just asking, like, out of map right now. A map will happen if something happens.
I am
but for now,
my boy and the bear.
Lucas is also contemplating either his gun or his magic. Currently.
KitCon Bader, what are you doing?
I'm keeping my eyes on them bears. I'm gonna make direct eye contact with the bears.
Okay. It is staring you down.
Can I say that Lucas starts concentrating on a spell?
Which one?
He's concentrating on... Dang it, I thought I could use this one, but it's a humanoid, fuck. He's concentrating on guidance, and who wants a D4 added to their rolls?
Oh,
I assume Maya wants that. So I'm concentrating on the guidance spell, and Maya's gonna get the D4 for their ability check rolls.
You concentrate and cast your magics, and Maya, you feel a little bit more capable than usual.
Lucas kind of winks at you.
I'm going to ask you all one thing.
Yeah?
This is your next choice. Are you going to wait to see what happens, or are you going to try and get the first strike on it?
This is you telling us we're getting in combat, isn't it?
No, I'm asking you guys, what are you doing?
I guess I'll wait, but if things start to look, if something starts rushing at me, I'm just gonna go, I wanna fly, because I have wings. I can do that.
Just fucking peace out.
My rifle away. I'm still holding it.
Lucas,
But you're not like, okay.
Lucas will wait, but he's thinking about a spell, and he's readying to move.
And you, Bador?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait and see what happens.
You have to use every part of the owl bear.
All of you wait, ready your own weapons, prepared for a fight, which would have happened if you guys didn't wait. Suddenly, there is the sound of like coming from inside the woods, and one of the owlbears, the smaller one, looks towards the tree line, as do all of you, keeping your eyes on the two larger ones as well. And you can see 3 or 4 small cubs kind of like pawing at the ground, walking towards the much larger ones. And the bigger one is staring directly at you people. Mainly you, Kit Kat, staring you directly in the eyes. But the other one kind of like takes a couple steps backwards and seems to forget about you as it walks towards its much smaller cubs. And after a moment, the big one does as well.
The baby.
Okay.
You can see the slightly smaller one pick up one of the cubs in its teeth by its neck and kind of basically put it over its own shoulder onto its back, which it continues to do with the other 3 or 4 cubs.
It's so cute.
The large one kind of like stares at you guys as it kind of walks away, but the 2 owl bears and their cubs make their way back into the woods, back the way you guys came. You guys very narrowly avoided combat. Good job.
Yay.
You don't have to fight everything.
It's not going to be an option for every combat. Let me tell you that now.
Yeah.
Not this Anyway, though, enough of spoilers.
I assume a minute is probably past.
Yeah. Are you guys going to head back to the town still? It's getting pretty dark already. It's
Yeah.
When you guys arrived in the woods, it was 1 or 2. Looking up now in the sky, although you didn't think it was that long, it is like 7 or 8. The sky is getting much darker, and currently it's getting much darker.
Yeah, we going back to the tavern.
Hello?
Yeah, that's where I figured we were going.
Okay. I have to roll a couple things just to see something.
Hey, put that hole in my face. Thank you.
Luckily, the rest of your journey is uneventful. You all make it back to the tavern. Right as it's getting around 8-ish. It's getting very dark very quickly. And you all make it back before it gets to really night. Coming back into the tavern, the barkeep kind of looks surprised to see you all, and he's like, "Oh, welcome back.
Yeah, we saw the voice characters.
Hi there.
How was your trip?"
Oh, water spirit kissed my forehead.
They're not just snatching the boys; they're kissing them too.
Oh dear.
It was a water spirit. They do what they want.
But yeah, it's getting around 8 o'clock at night now. The sun's starting to go down, and the innkeep is like, "Hey, it's getting a little late now. Typically, I like to stay nice and ready for anyone who comes in a little later. But as it stands, I think I'm gonna close up for the night. Are you all staying here?"
Looks like it.
Well, seeing as you all came back from the forest just fine and dandy, I think I'll give you this night for free. How's that sound?
Much obliged, mister.
That's wonderful.
So all of you get a free night at the end. If you have used anything, you gain it back during your long rest. Does anyone want to do anything during the night?
Lucas is kind of like slowly writing about he's kind of like writing and thinking about what just happened.
Mm-hmm.
But he's mostly just like, water spirits are interesting and I want to eventually go back. Everything about that area is interesting.
What about the rest of you? You want to do anything before you go to bed, or do you want to do anything during the night? What do you all do? Aaron?
I'm gonna go over to Lucas and go, "Can you teach me how to read?"
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know actually how to teach somebody how to read, so let's assume that I do.
Does Kit Kat think it's gonna be like a one night thing, and then they're gonna have full mastery of the common language?
Yes.
They think
Look,
it's
in one night you get reading proficiency.
It is not like that. Why is my cat in here? What do you want?
So we have a character who can read everything, and a character who can read nothing.
Which is really funny.
But he speaks common and he speaks snake, technically.
If only I had Amelia's helm.
Yeah, he has basically what's speaks with animals, but only the snakes permanently.
Speaks with animals, but only the snakes.
Permanently.
Yeah. It also includes basilisk and stuff like that.
That's true. You could totally talk to Buttercup as well, couldn't you?
Yes, that's what I said earlier. Yeah.
What does
You weren't here
Buttercup
for that,
have to
Justin.
say?
Buttercup says yes.
Thanks, Buttercup, for being.
I really like the idea of a character who has really high intelligence, but they're actually two characters. They're an intelligent snake and a really, really dumb person. So all the intelligence rolls are made through the animal.
That's Buttercup is more intelligent.
Oh no.
I think we've just come across that character.
So the night passes once more in the tavern. All of you kind of thinking about what happened in the morning. During the night, some of you may have noticed, if you ever woke up or were a little late to go to sleep, once the night really rolled in, a thick mist began pouring out of the edge of the forest. You guys could see in the distance. This really heavy fog almost rolling out of the tree line. It never quite reached your tavern, but there was something a little ominous about it. Anyway, besides from that, though, the four of you awake in the morning, in your own beds, in your own rooms, fresh and ready to go. Are you heading back out?
I'd assume so.
What are you all doing to talk to each other?
Kind of misty
Who's
last
first
night.
to wake up? That is the question. Lucas is not awake. He was up kind of late, but he's used
How much
to it.
sleep? How much sleep do lizard people get?
You get the full 8 hours, Aaron.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Does Lucas need to go to sleep?
Lucas is already asleep. He's been asleep.
Lucas is one of those stupid teenagers who can't keep a sleeping schedule straight. I'm glad I'm not one of those.
Asleep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Someone goes in there and wakes him up.
Lucas
Lucas is cuddled up with his owl.
wake up.
Nothing.
Lucas.
The owl pecks you in the face.
No, it's
Lucas, your owl. Lucas.
Are you peeking through the keyhole?
No, he's in the room.
He's Lucas is wafting away north just in a little bit, and he's stop.
Yeah.
Lucas. Lucas, wake up.
I really like the idea that you're not in the room, but you're just looking through the keyhole, shouting, "Lucas!"
Oh, you said we were all in separate rooms, right?
Yeah.
He's in the hallway saying this.
Does Lucas lock his door?
Yes.
Lucas.
Okay, yeah, you're
He's turning the handle.
There is a window in most of the rooms.
Oh.
Wait a minute. Actually,
Am I pulling a drama ledge?
Hey.
I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna go up to the window. I'm gonna crawl on the side of the and then I'm gonna slap my hand on the window. And I'm gonna bring my face up. Lucas, wake up.
Lucas, you're in your sleep and suddenly you hear from right outside your window.
Oh, it's so
I
good.
need to plug my phone in.
Because hair's all disheveled, so he looks extra spooky.
I imagine when he hears the window slam, he sits up and he's like, "Dad, I'm sorry." Okay.
Lucas, you're
you.
awake. Yes, let me in.
I will be out in a minute.
Lucas's owl jumps down from his shoulder and begins like pecking at the window, and your little snake buddy is like, "Bitch," and like rolls up to the window as well and starts like taunting the owl in front of it through the glass.
North, please.
Lucas,
It's just
where did I
it's
put?
pecking into the window.
He's gonna go
Lucas.
and like grab North, and he's like, "Please don't, not right now, not right
Lucas,
now."
let me
Do you have
in.
my glasses? Do you have my glasses, North?
Lucas,
my glasses.
Lucas, let me in. Open the window.
Look, I can't see very much.
Can Santiago and like Bader just hear all of this through the door? They can hear like Lucas's side.
Yes, we can hear all of this.
He's gonna go and like fumble around in his room, like mostly towards like where like a nightstand kind of would be ? And like fumble around and find his glasses, and then let Kit in through his window. And he's like, "Why didn't you just bang on the door?"
It's quite a small window. You're gonna have to like really squeeze through it, Kate. Like you're a big person.
Yes.
Why didn't
With those big old wings.
Why didn't you bang on the door, Kit?
Oh wait, Sam. Kate, can you roll me a dexterity check real quick?
Oh god.
Or acrobatics, I guess. Never been a while.
Want acrobatics or you want dexterity?
Acrobatics.
Acrobatics is your dexterity.
Yeah, that's true. That's an 18.
The window was really small, and you like almost got stuck. But like your little snake buddy kind of flew around behind you and was like, he was like telling you to like, move your legs over there and like try to like pick up your ass a little more and tuck in your wings, and like just started like ramming against your ass to try and shove you through the windows to make sure you didn't get stuck. And you managed to like pull yourself through and tumble to the floor.
Buttercup, you don't have to be so rough. Stop being mean to me.
It smacks into your butt again.
He's being mean to me. I can hear him. He's saying mean things about my ass.
Who is saying bad things about your ass?
Buttercup.
Oh, I forgot you can probably speak to it in the first place.
Yes. And all snakes.
Lucas's immediate assumption is that they can talk to snakes and not that they're crazy.
It would make sense because he's part snake.
Did I show them my legs yet? Snake legs.
Lucas is gonna go open up the door after he like puts himself together.
Isn't Santiago and Bader like right outside your door?
Are y'all?
I was just like making sure the boy wasn't getting snatched, and then I realized.
Are y'all like outside the door though?
You know, as soon as I heard that it was Kitka's voice, I went and I was like, "Oh fuck, I don't give a shit."
Already trust you,
I guess.
Oh, it's fine.
Anyway,
Lucas opens the door.
Hmm?
Lucas opens the door. Who's outside? Is anyone outside the door?
I don't think Santiago and Beto are. I think Santiago was, but they're not anymore. It was just Kit Kat that was like squeezing in through your fucking window. By the way, your snake is like, you really need to like, I'm not, your snake's just like, you need to lose a couple pounds, man. You know?
So when I talk back to Buttercup, does it sound snaky or is it just like?
It sounds snaky, yeah.
Sounds snaky. Okay, so I'm sassing him back.
I imagine
that sounds
that,
like a bunch of hissing.
Wait, so you walked into me last night and asked if you wanted to know how to read, right?
Yes.
I imagine that Lucas is like, you've probably spoken to that. Have you spoken to that snake in front of me?
Maybe. I don't know.
I would imagine that once he figures that out, he'd be like, you teach me how to talk that way, and I'll teach you how to fucking read anything you want, dude.
Oh. It's because I'm half snake. I don't know how to do. I could try.
Inject Lucas with snake.
Let's not do that.
Maybe I'm venomous. I don't know.
How did our learning to read endeavors go, Justin?
Like, just terribly. Yeah, I doubt you two did much because it was like getting shit and you had to do. Like a little bit, like fucking Kika, you don't know what the fuck any of that is. What the fuck are these fucking lines?
He's never held a pen before.
Well, I assume teaching to read is before learning to write.
Anyway, it's probably early in the morning. What time are you guys getting up?
What time is it?
I'm asking you what time you guys are getting up.
I assume maybe 9 in the morning. 9 in the morning.
Okay, everyone cool with that?
I mean, sure. I mean, Kit kind of strikes me as a up at the butt crack of dawn kind of person.
Oh God, I hate it.
He just requires his 8 hours of sleep. Usually that always consists of 6 hours, though.
He just needs his beauty sleep.
A little bit.
So what are you all doing? It's the early morning. You guys are now awake. You're at the top of the tavern. You know that you still have to take care of the whole forest thing. You probably want to take off before it's too late, but what is everyone doing?
Lucas has probably gone downstairs and sat down at like one of the tables and just kind of is like waking up as best he can and like reading over just reading through one of the books he brought with him that he hasn't finished quite yet.
It's somewhat interesting. Something crazy. Your mind's a little more distracted. The whole forest thing you just saw. But, you know, it's also
distracted by forest spirit kisses. That's pretty cool.
I bet Kit Kat's pretty jealous.
Yes.
Kit Kat is very jealous. Kit Kat saw all of that go down and was like, fuck me, dude. I want a spirit kiss. What the fuck?
Kit Kat just sits like across from Lucas and was like, what was it like? Describe it. Every detail. What did it feel like, Lucas?
If that actually happens, that would be stupid funny.
Could.
That's true.
What are you all doing then?
Like I said, Lucas is sitting at a table just kind of waking up and reading.
What are you doing, Kit Kat? Heading down after them.
I thought about bringing a Drama Lech's rat antics back into it, but oh God, because you know,
is Kit Kat just gonna fucking gather an army of pets? Is that gonna be your goal here? Is that how you interpreted your mother's words to you?
Buttercup eats rats, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly,
what does the real snake eat?
Could Kit Kat eat a rat?
Oh,
I mean, you certainly physically could. Yeah, there's nothing stopping you.
Okay.
The contemplation is real.
I'm gonna go up to the bartender.
Oh, I like just like glaring at a mouse hole in the corner, like licking his lip. I'm like, you know, we should release in daylight. We should really, really get going.
Yeah,
he's like crouched down next to the wall, and he's looking into the hole.
I imagine that Lucas is like feeding North.
He's waiting.
Like a Tom and Jerry thing where like you've got like a fake mouse hole and you like put it and you're like in between the fake mouse hole and the wall and like you're just open your mouth the bottom of it. You're trying to scare a mouse into it.
I do that for like 2 seconds and then get it like expelled from the bar.
He's like, the bartender's like, you want to order something?
No.
I mean, I assume you're kind of getting a little desperate over there. We have actual food here. You understand?
It's fine.
No, you. I don't think you realize. We have like ham and eggs.
Okay.
You don't have to eat rats.
Okay.
I think that's part of their natural diet as a snake individual.
Actually, rats are an incredibly unhygienic source of nutrition. They typically carry lots of diseases and are typically prone to having mouse droppings along with other types of feces and other particulates, which can cause severe food poisoning.
He's a snake.
Singing to himself. He's singing a cover of the Quero Quero Bonito song. He's doing that. How many rats do you how many
have
rats
to eat before you wait
turn pink?
How many rats do you have to eat until you catch a disease?
Yes. These pink rats.
Think so?
I mean, North eats rats, but she's an owl.
Lucas, don't you gotta go investigate some things out in the woods, because I don't want to see how they eat a rat.
Bartender. I actually have a question.
Oh, is it about your friend? Because I got a couple questions.
No. It does not have anything to do with the Kit Kat and the rats.
Seriously, like I normally like make you pay, but I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm gonna offer food to get them out of the fucking floor. I just had a customer come into the building and then turn around and leave, and he was a regular.
We just met yesterday. I don't know. I don't know what he is. I don't.
Look here. He like reaches beneath the counter and he pulls out like some bread. And he's like, "Just eat this." Hello. He fucking like he pulls like the bread up. It's like really stale and like really hard. He like pulls it over his head and just fucking overhand throws it at Kit.
Kit, will you please get out of the floor and eat this poor bartender's bread so you stop scaring away the patrons?
The bread's on the floor. It's unhealthy, unhygienic.
Now I want you to look where you are.
Yes.
Think about that.
I'm gonna wash my hands later.
Mr. Bartender, I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Not about Kit. Have you ever heard of anything called the Sorrow's Tears around here?
Roll me a history exam. I know I'm asking you to roll for him, but like you understand. Roll me history.
It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. Just you don't ask me to roll for people because they roll good. Give me that 19. 14 plus 5.
Sorrow's Tears. I don't know, vaguely familiar. I'm going to be completely honest. That's not exactly the top priority on my mind at the current moment. I'm more thinking about your friend over there.
I mean, any information is helpful for me. That's what I'm looking for.
I don't know. I've heard the name before. I'll say that much at least. Probably some folk coming through here one day. I get a lot of travelers coming to the wood. Not many of them come back, as I've said. But one or two have probably mentioned some kind of sorrow, tears, sad, weeping. I don't know. Not too many, but I've definitely heard the name before, I think.
Do you happen to know where these travelers might have gone?
Yeah, the woods.
No, I meant like there's another village in the woods. Like we were told there's another one.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, maybe that's the sorrow tears.
The sorrow's tears is the sorrow that Lucas can't find him.
Most travelers, to actually answer your question though and stop being such an ass. Most travelers that come through here typically go to the village. It's a little place called Timber Earth. Might have heard of it. If you just follow the stream, you'll find your way there real quickly.
All right. Thank you.
If you're looking for something in the woods, they'd probably know where it is.
All right. Thank you. That is massively helpful.
You can repay me by getting your friend the hell out of my fine establishment.
Kit, if you please get out of the floor, we'll see if we can find the water. The water.
Let's shoot you one. Come on, get
Another patron steps into the tavern, and he's not really looking. He's like looking at a newspaper, and he walks by and he almost trips over you, Kit Kat, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And he turns around and leaves.
Breakfast.
Kit, please, if you get out of the floor and come with me, we'll see if we can find the water spirit to kiss your forehead.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure there are more rats in the woods, Kit Kat.
You can possibly find like a nice rabbit.
As like the moment you stand up, Kit Kat, a mouse bolts out of the hole, and Buttercup flies down and snaps it up.
Can I imagine that North also tries to grab it?
Like immediately, like both of them like dive at it, but Buttercup was a little closer and they managed to snap it up.
That's not fair.
Lucas kind of like grabs North and he's like, Northwind, you have better manners than that.
It's like lightly pecking at your face, like not enough to hurt, but it's pecking at you.
I fed you. We'll find you something nicer in the woods. How about that?
It stops pecking you.
Thank you.
Kit Kat, your Buttercup is just like tasty. What is everyone doing then?
Leaving.
Yeah, the bar.
I will pay my debt.
What'd you say, Bader?
Yeah, leaving.
The barkeep looks a little perturbed, shall we say, at this whole situation.
What's Santiago doing?
My bad.
What is Santiago doing?
My bad.
Understandable. We're leaving, Justin.
Okay. You head out once more. Are you guys going back to the same place you entered or somewhere else?
I assumed I was going towards... I mean, with that information, I'm probably going towards that town.
Yeah, let's head towards the village.
So last time you guys went along the left side of the stream. Are you going to go on the left side again, or are you going to go on the right side?
The right side. One that don't have an owlbear.
Yeah, I'm gonna deal with the side that doesn't have the owlbear.
I think owlbear can cross stream.
Yeah, but that takes effort.
I suppose.
Owlbears are famously lazy. Aaron, you never sent me your passive perception in the chat. Can you do that real quick?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Again, no reason why. I'm just curious.
Passive perception. Okay.
It's what?
Oh, it's an 11.
Oh, I have 11. That's cool.
You guys head back into the wood. You're going along the right side of the stream this time?
I said the left. I'm dealing with the side that doesn't have the owlbear.
The owlbears were on the left side last time.
Oh, then the right.
Right.
As you guys head in, are you just going straight in?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Sure.
Okay. You guys head in following the path once more. And as you're making your way, you get to about the house place again. Can everybody roll me perception or nature?
I can roll you either one of those.
Um,
21 on nature, 16 plus 5.
10 on perception is what I mean.
23 perception?
17.
That was really good from some of you.
I said 21
You don't want
for
to talk
nature,
about
bro.
20?
Maya, what'd you roll?
It was a 17, which is fine. That's good.
Yeah, why are you complaining?
I just found it funny that like Maya can never roll the highest in the group. Anyway, you guys head in on the right side of the stream this time. Sammy and Bader, the two of you notice something that the others do not. I don't know what Kit Kaz was, but they're not here anyway, so. there seems to be a clearing a little further to your right. You can see some what looks to be like the edges of dead trees and stuff. You're not entirely sure what it is, but this is basically pretty much the opposite of where you were at last time at the house. You can see the house across the stream. This is just something a little further in the woods you can see the first time.
I point that out to everyone in the group. To anyone who doesn't seem to see it.
You think there's tears in there?
I don't think they're in there, but I do think my next clue is there.
So
could be.
I'm going.
Keep an eye out for you.
Appreciated, like I've said before, but not necessary.
My uncle thought it was necessary.
I don't know why he thought it was necessary. If he thinks I can handle myself, I don't see why he sent somebody after me.
I don't know why he asked me to do half the shit he asked me to do, but...
What does that entail?
Fuck it, I know, man.
Lucas is going towards the clearing.
After a very quick walk, you find your way there. I'm sending it in the world map chat. Excuse me. It'll send you just a second. You arrive, and you come into a very strange clearing. In the center, you see two large dead trees. Their branches tangled together. The clearing around it as well is all dirt. There's no grass. And it goes for a while until it reaches the very edges of the clearing, where the trees seem to come back and resurge, basically. Interesting little clearing, and you get a feeling of great sorrow from this place, like something truly tragic happened. As you get a little closer and you actually enter the clearing itself, something far more disturbing is obvious. The trees themselves seem to be made up of bodies. Not like flesh, but like almost like perfectly sculpted, not perfectly, sculpted, crafted, cut out human figures, or humanoid figures that are basically embedded into the trunk, making up the trunk itself. Primarily of the larger one, but also some of the smaller one. They don't make up the entire tree. They seem to be mainly crafted and sculpted out of the bases. But it's a strange sight. The faces don't seem to be in pain or in agony or in fear. It almost looks like as if whoever sculpted this made it look like they were sleeping.
I'm investigating.
Yeah, I mean,
that leads me to where I'm going.
They snatch them and they kiss them. This is what they do with the boys.
All the boys go.
They got all these
Lucas
boys.
is investigating.
What does Santiago and Beto do? Okay.
Keep him watch.
I'm gonna go look at this tree.
I'm investigating the tree as well.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a
Beto, you can also
23
roll
on
investigation. Santiago, roll me perception. Keep an eye out.
Oh, probably not gonna get higher, but it should be plus. 24 on investigation.
20 points higher than me.
Two of you investigate around a little bit, and I can send you something very interesting. Go on to roll 20.
Can you see where we've been sending little messages to each other, Justin? Oh, there is a map here. Look at this.
Santiago, what did you roll on your perception? You notice
17.
As you're kind of keeping watch at the trees, around the perimeter of the clearing are footprints. Very large, very tree-like footprints. Very, very similar to the moss giants. And it looks like they've been here a while. Almost like this is common stomping ground for it.
I think we're in your big Big Green Jolly Boy's stomping grounds.
The Moss Giant, you said?
Yeah.
Lucas and Bador, the two of you look around a little bit. Investigating the trees closer, or what? What are you guys specifically investigating?
I'm looking at the trees, and I'm you said the word sorrow, and my interest is piqued. I'm looking around for anything that might be what I'm looking out for.
Looking around a little bit, you kind of investigate a little more, and you can see what seems to be a small trapdoor in between the two trees. You can see it on the map there. Looking into it, however,
yeah, I see it right there.
You can look into it and you can peer into it a little bit, and you can see a set of stone stairs that head downwards. However, it looks like the dirt has long since collapsed at some point, filling up the entire cavern. Investigating a little closer, looking a little closer, you can see these stone stairs are ancient, what's left of them. They've been weathered down by the wind and the rain that's fallen into the trapdoor by now. But it looks like at one point this may have been an ancient and very important dungeon that has now long since been filled up. You look around a little bit as well. The trees, you got a 24, right? The people on the trees aren't. When first glancing at them, there's not enough detail. They don't look super lifelike, if that makes sense. It looks like maybe an amateur sculptist who obviously knows what they're doing, but isn't like super professional. Basically sculpted the figures vaguely into the tree. But as you look closer, it looks more like someone made these wooden sculptures and then fitted it around the tree stump and somehow melded them together, more than it being carved into the tree itself.
Oh.
You count in all as you walk around it, about 19 or 20.
A 19 or 20 statue?
Interested in those stairs, so he's gonna do exactly what Santiago would not want him to do.
Again, there's nothing to go down. The stairs end very quickly in a heap of rock and dirt. The stairs that are leading into the trapdoor have long since been caved in. All that you can see is thousands of tons of stone and dirt, filling up what was once an ancient passageway.
That is heartening.
Whatever lies beneath the earth is long lost history.
Lucas finds that disheartening at best. I mean, he probably investigated that, and he's probably going around the trees and trying to look in them. He's got a good feeling right now.
There is definitely a sense of something in this place, but it doesn't. You can't really see anything right now that catches your attention much more than I've said.
Is there anything else of interest to investigate?
Not really much else you guys can see.
I really want to start messing with these stairs. Like, I'm really interested in these stairs.
They're caved in.
Are you gonna try and dig it up?
Excavate them?
I had more birth. What to do? There's not much really to investigate other than trees, really.
What's that village that may or may know? Oh my god.
Who's so big?
Maya, right behind you, the old woman from the house across the stream is behind you.
Oh no.
Oh, hello. Strange meeting you here again.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, miss.
I'm surprised to see you back here.
I'm surprised to see me back here too. Be honest.
These trees are old.
Very,
very old.
They look.
She kind of doesn't really say much and walks up to this larger tree. And is just kind of investigating it herself. What are the rest of you doing?
Lucas is gonna walk up
I'm doing it.
to the tree that the woman's at and kind of look at it himself a little bit. Because he was highly focused on the stairs.
You don't see much you already have. However...
Did that woman make any noise? Was she just suddenly behind me?
She was just suddenly behind you. You only have you don't have a super high natural perception, but you did not notice her.
Okay.
Wasn't Santiago like looking out?
I am at the same tree that
he's the big bad of the whole company.
The grave for a great man who once stood here in his final battle. It grew around him, like these people grow around it now. Don't you remember? Your father was there. I remember him. He spoke to me.
What do you mean, Alice?
She steps away and is looking at this tree.
No.
Lucas is tailing behind. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, help me understand.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this.
The world shattered. Before we are where we are now. And she steps off into the tree line. Disappearing.
Move her off the bed.
Yeah.
Hey, Justin.
Yeah, you're saying.
I know you're trying to do a voice, but I cannot understand a single word you're saying.
Tell me what she said previously before she walked off. Because you said that quietly.
That it was a war a long time ago, before the world shattered, before the way it is today. And then she walked off.
Kind of staring in the direction she went, and he's got like his hands in his pocket.
By now it is reaching about 10 or 11, so you guys are reaching about midday. Yeah. There is are you still on lookout, or have you kind of let that go? You're still on lookout? There's something in the woods, not like physical, not like moving, but looking a little closer, it's that same thick rolling fog some of you had seen the night before. It seems to almost be pouring through the trees, like some great god clumsily let something spill onto the world below, and here it is pouring outwards in the forest. It's not fast or anything, a natural speed, but it almost has this solid form as it seems to roll and spread around the trees.
I'm watching it.
Lucas sits down on top of that.
War.
Oh god.
Oh god, we're all gonna die.
Fog map. Oh god.
No fog map, unfortunately.
I imagine like Lucas sits down on top of that trapdoor, and he starts like sitting down and really thinking. He's like he's trying to remember if his dad has mentioned anything like that ever.
Santiago, you're paying the most attention currently in terms of outside the clearing. You hear what sounds like a wolf howl. And in the back of your mind, you could almost hear the sound of metal clashing. But that's just your imagination.
Anyone else hear them wolves out there, or is that just me?
What happened? I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of something.
I didn't expect you to
what is Kit Kat and Bader doing currently?
Just listen out for these wolves.
You're gonna touch it?
We'll touch the haunted
as
trees.
you kind of run your hand over some of these strange wooden statues,
yes.
You notice that one of them has a particularly deep cut in its chest, almost like someone took an axe and like slashed at the wood at some point. It looks somewhat new. Can you roll me investigation?
Sure. Just gonna be a +0 because I have a 10 intelligence. Yay.
You don't notice
11.
anything, but you do notice the cut.
Just,
Yay.
I would like to sit down with my very expensive deck of cards, and start casting augury.
What are you
doing? No.
You gonna cast it without knowing what you're asking?
I was thinking about it. I was
you
reading
receive an omen from an otherworldly entity about the results of a specific course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes. So what do you plan to do in the next 30 minutes?
There's a lot I could do. Can you jump to somebody else while I think about this?
Santiago, that fog is rolling in a lot faster now, and it's starting to reach the edge of the clearing. It's currently coming from your right. There's something to your left, but it's slowly rolling in from right to left.
Okay. Listen, I know you're trying to do some magic thing. I don't know what you're trying to do, but there's something coming in that smoke. This whole place is full of stuff supernatural. It ain't gonna have too many qualms about messing with your whole bunch. We need to keep moving. Especially if we're wasting day. You know?
Yeah.
Get to that village may or may not be full of boy kissing, boy snatcher ghosts.
Oh no.
I honestly just think it's a playful spirit.
I don't know what kind of spirits you heard about that are just playful and not malicious, but we should keep moving regardless.
I can't. Nothing here has really given me, other than what, whatever her name is, said.
Sounded like a whole lot of hullabaloo.
Well, she mentioned that I should remember this, that my father knows about this, and something about the world before it was broken up the way it is. Which is very interesting.
Has your daddy ever been here?
Not that he's ever mentioned.
He's talking nonsense and it's getting closer and it's whispering. We're gonna go. Now.
Wait, did we come from the right?
You came from the right.
We came from the right or the left?
The right.
You have to go. Oh.
Fine. This doesn't really hold many clues other than this thing, and he kind of kicks where the trapdoor is.
Well, it's caved in, so you're not going down there.
I had a feeling. I don't need you to tell me what I can obviously see.
I mean, obviously there's smoke rolling in, and you're just still sitting there. So... Come on!
Well, I'm coming. Chill out.
Yeah, no.
Can't pick it off?
Yeah, Lucas is picking up his cards, and he's not even done halfway casting the spell.
Where are you guys heading? You're heading out of the clearing, and where are you going?
Where's that little town that
down the
was
stream. You guys aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I
want to go anyway. And Kitka?
Yeah, we're following him.
Yeah.
Sure.
You guys pretty heavily outpace the fog. but it is definitely consistently rolling in. Slowly but surely. As you guys make your way through the heavily wooded trees once more, strange sounds reach your ears alongside the ever-present creaking of the wood. Sounds that almost remind you of metal clashing, of men screaming, of something that happened here once upon a time, a very long time ago. Something that intensifies the closer the fog gets. When suddenly, it stops, and you all reach the village. And I'm going to send the picture of the village in chat. Okay? Well done.
Mm-hmm.
You good, Aaron?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I was messing with what you could put on your character.
I'm just nomming on chips.
So go ahead and look in Discord to see what this next area looks like. Go back. Give it a second and then I'll send it and I'll continue.
So, like, how big is this?
It's very small. It's not a town. It's more like just like a small gathering of basically hermits. Here we go. The stream finally ends.
Oh, there it is.
Opening up into a large pond through an old crumbling archway. The pond itself sports a strange towering obelisk set dead center. Around its edges lay large flat rocks and the strange image of some giant meticulously placing their skipping stones around the perimeter enters your mind. Despite the image, it's difficult to say whether these are natural or purposely placed here. The depth of the pond as well is impossible to tell with just sight. Across the way, though, you all spot a small village, the same village you've all heard so much about. Though, seeing it from where you are, you don't really see any real movement. As you circle around, you all make your way around the large pond and the very still water that is the stream. You guys are approaching from the top of the picture, and you pass through a small little campsite that you guys can see just barely on the top. It's abandoned, been long abandoned. There's a couple things here, but it's really nothing too interesting unless you really want to look into it more.
I'm
Okay.
gonna
Roll
look
me
into them
investigation.
more. Okay.
Sure.
Can I also investigate?
No. That was a request.
Oh. That's
Glancing
21.
around the campsite, it's pretty easy to tell that although no one's here, they must have left pretty quickly. Sammy, what did you get?
We're rolling investigation. Give me a minute. I had to roll because I had chip
Let's continue
dust
with Shaman.
on my fingers.
The campfire is out,
Give me
but
like 2
there's still
seconds.
embers in the pit.
21.
Lucas, you notice most of this as well. Sean and Sam as well. You notice that a lot of the stuff here is pretty fresh, but there's no one here. There's still embers in the campfire. There's like a bedroll that's still unmade. There's no animals in the food. There's a couple like drying pieces of meat here and there. It's not really a super bustling campsite, but it looks like whoever was here packed up pretty quickly. I guess I'll make your way to the main village.
Yeah, I am.
Four of you make your way down alongside, for you guys, the river to your left. These large stones kind of bracing the water against the dirt. And you make your way through the very thin tree line coming into the main village. If you will all get onto roll 20, then I can pull it up. Okay. This should be the one. Hopefully.
Oh, it's this map.
Immediately, as you enter the village, something isn't quite right. You can see the center of town pretty clearly from where you are. It looks like something's happened here. So you see what you see, basically. You can see that something recently has happened pretty badly here. You see several destroyed tables in front of you, along with somewhat fresh fruit, at least in the last day or so, been scattered around. Broken plates, along with some blood splatters. Not a huge amount, but enough to be worried about. It looks like something was happening, and then suddenly something brought a very violent and very quick end to it in this village. What are you all doing?
I rolled to investigate.
Where specifically, Sam?
Just generally.
Where in the village? It's an entire...
Mostly the town square.
Okay, so move your character up there and tell me what you're investigating.
Just generally around the area first.
What is everyone doing besides Sam?
That looks like there's some blood on those stairs. I'm gonna go investigate.
Okay, go
that
move
way.
Then I'll move your character since Maya is away. So you're hanging up the church here? Not the church, this large church-like building.
Why does it keep doing that?
Was it?
On the investigation?
Mm-hmm. What are you doing, Kika?
17.
There's a big.
Yeah, it's
you said there's a big old obelisk, right?
No, that is
that
the
what
center.
that is right
That's
there?
the well. The obelisk is in the center of the pond.
Oh. Oh. I kind of want to. I kind of want to look at that, but if we're looking at the town right now.
Okay. Then we're gonna start.
Yeah, I'll go do that.
Santiago?
I'm just keeping an eye out because this is spooky as shit. My blood is still red.
Where are you looking specifically?
I'm like hovering around Lucas, basically.
Trying to look around for everything?
Yeah, how you said this looked recent?
Very recent.
Okay, yeah, I'm listening for any sort of...
Then we'll start with Lucas, go to Beethoven, go to Kitka, and then we'll go to Santiago, and then we'll go down the line. Lucas, what did you get?
I rolled a nat 20 on my investigation.
You look around, so obviously you can see several destroyed tables, along with a couple of strewn weapons. A bow, a spear, a sword stuck into the table. It looks like there was some kind of battle here. One side very decisively lost. You do see some blood splatters, although there's not enough to say that a lot of people were seriously injured. Maybe one or two at the most. You can tell that there are still glowing embers in the campfire. So this could have happened earlier today, for all you know. At the same time, it could have happened last night, which would make sense with the campfire. The well looks like it's broken as well, as if something fell into it, or was pushed through, or came out of the well. You're not really sure what, but the covering of the well has definitely been broken.
Can I look in the covering of the well?
Sure. Climbing up the small ladder there, it's not a super tall well, but it's tall enough allow your house. You peek over into the inky darkness, and for a minute, it feels like it's this infinite void. Before suddenly, a glimmer of light from the sun catches a pair of eyes far down the well. Very small eyes, and you hear a small yelp that echoes off the well's sides before you hear a splash, and some of the eyes are gone.
Was it water?
You looked into the well and thought you saw a pair of small eyes before you heard a yelp and a splash.
I'm tempted to send North down there.
Well, hold on.
That would...
What's happening? Bador, what are you currently doing?
Investigating that building with the blood.
Okay. Walking up to the door, they seem to be unlocked, so you can probably just head right in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Head in.
So you head in. You can go ahead and move your character to get my movement. And roll me an investigation.
Okay. That was I think 9. I didn't do so well on it.
What was it?
9. I didn't roll so well on it.
You're not super sure what this building was used for, but the collection of books and tables, maybe you could figure something out from there. The one thing you do notice out of everything is a small trapdoor in the bottom left of the church. You're not. It's not a church. I can tell you that now. I keep saying church. It's just because it's one.
Books and tables. Probably a library.
Well, there's a small trapdoor in the corner if you want to check that out.
I'm gonna open the trapdoor and just look in.
Okay. You pop it open and it's just dark in there. You can't see anything. If there's lights, they're all off.
I'm gonna go over, grab a book, and use magical tinkering to give it a 5-foot radius of light.
Okay.
And drop it in the hole, in the like hatch.
Okay. You open it up, you toss it in. The book lands on some stairs, tumbles down. You can see the very small area of light it produces. It's a stone floor, it looks like, and you hear something inside go, look, oh.
Close that.
We're gonna jump to Kit Kat. Actually, as you're closing it, it goes, who, you slam it shut. Kit Kat. You have gone up. You can look at the road. You can look at the map of the village if you want to. It's a little easier. So you have left the perimeters of the village. You're currently beside that small watchtower. It's barely a watchtower, probably more used as like a fucking tree fort or something, right? And you are at the edge of this very large pond. You can see in the middle this very tall-looking obelisk. It's not like gigantic. You would wager probably like 50 feet tall. What are you doing?
I guess I just kind of. Is it? So you said it's in the middle of the pond, right?
Okay, you're going to the water?
I guess I'll just swim on over there.
Okay.
Check it out,
you
maybe.
Step into the water, and the ripples of your movement kind of spread out through the entire still pond. The only real movement coming in naturally, aside from your interference, is the edge there. By the way, as you're stepping into the pond, you can notice off to the right a lot more of the fog is starting to roll in. You probably have a good few more minutes before it rolls in and covers the town, but it's definitely coming in. As you step into the water, though, the very edges of the pond are quite shallow, but you can immediately tell that it drops off very quickly. So are you going to swim or are you going to go to the bottom?
Okay.
What are you doing?
Probably just swim because I'm going to go look at the obelisk and then I might.
Buttercup is currently wrapped around your neck.
Swim on bottom later.
Anxious, the best we could put it. He's like, sure, this is a good idea. I don't know though.
Yes, it's fine.
I don't like long things.
Alright, so I guess I'll just go and, swim up to the obelisk and check it out. If I need to fly, I can.
Can you roll me an athletics check real quick?
Yes. Oh god, it's keeps rolling.
The currents start pulling at you a little bit back and forth again, completely batting at you. You can kind of tell now that they're really not trying to drown you or anything. It's more like they're just messing around with you. Yeah, like you couldn't fucking anyway. Even if they were trying.
I can't drown him.
But looking around, you suddenly realize as you kind of push back, and you kind of assert your own force here, you notice that you are surrounded by like 5 or 6 different watery spirits that are like swimming around the water with you. You can almost think you can hear them like have this weird bubbly giggling underneath the water as it rises up. They're kind of like swirling around you and swimming as you're swimming along. What do you do?
I guess I can't really talk to them, can I?
You could try.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what do they speak. I guess I'll just ask them what they're doing around, what's popping.
You kind of like say like, "Hey, what the fuck's happening here?" And suddenly they stop all of a sudden. They stop swirling around you. You're finally able to get kind of a good look at them. You can't really place what gender they are. They really look like they could swing either way. You really have no idea. There aren't really any defining features, if you know what I mean. But they'll do all have very watery features. If that makes if that means anything.
Sure.
But they kind of swirl around you. Now that you can count them properly, there are 5 of them. Although 1 or 2 keep disappearing and reappearing, and maybe there's more that you can't see. But they kind of look surprised that you're trying to communicate with them, and then suddenly they all seem to like silently laugh to themselves, and they swirl around you even more and even faster.
Okay.
I bet.
If you're trying to drown me, it's not gonna work.
One of them like basically gets on your back and is trying to like piggyback ride you as you're like in the water.
Touching my wings, and I'm like, bro, please.
That's right. What are you doing? Are you just trying to get to the monument? What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll be kind of playful with the spirits since they seem to be, excited that I'm talking to them and all that kind of stuff. But I also would like to be able to swim.
You kind of like act a little playful back. You splash some water. You push them back, and that just gets them riled up. Suddenly, there's like splashes of water going everywhere. There's like a heavy current that blows out your feet and flips you around in the water. Suddenly, you're underwater. And it's all dark. You're being batted around. It's not like painful or anything, but it's really fucking annoying.
Buttercup's just like, where'd you go?
Yeah, Buttercup's like above the water, like looking at, like freaking out. Buttercup's like,
do we see like some water shenanigans happening? Do we?
I think Santiago might, because they're the only one keeping a lookout currently. So Santiago, you see all this happening. Are you still there, Maya? Well, anyway, if we're going to be scaring Santiago, then Lucas, it is your turn.
I don't specifically have anything other than a spell to throw for any light, so that kind of sucks. I consider sending North down there, but I'm just a little scared of anything happening to her, so I decide not to. And I'm going to go investigate the building over here.
Okay. You open up the door, and seems to be a butcher shop of some kind in the back, maybe a hunter's, you're not really sure. But immediately stepping in, you can see that there is several slabs of meat that were obviously supposed to be cured and taken care of before now, and now are not. They have just been sitting out for a little while, so it's starting to stink pretty badly.
Yeah, nothing really of...
there's an upstairs. Yeah, there's an upstairs as well, but it's meant to be storage stuff.
See. Is that a desk, actually? Is there like what's on it?
Yeah. Glancing over it real quickly, it looks to be like hastily scribbled in bad handwriting. Mainly like salary reports, stuff like that, like number of pigs remaining, prices to get like chickens and other stuff like that. This looks to be
probably
primarily like a farmer at a butcher shop or a butcher house.
Damn.
Nothing super interesting now.
Am I like allowed to go do anything else, or is that like my turn?
You can do another one, yeah.
I'm probably gonna walk into the same building as Bator. Yeah.
It's currently up. The two of you enter in, and you see Bator quickly slamming shut the trapdoor to the left, and that's where we'll jump over to the back door. Bator, you just slam shut the trapdoor. The last thing you're hearing being who
Jesus Christ!
What are you doing?
What's wrong?
There's something down there.
And you didn't go look?
No.
Why not?
Why would I?
I mean, it could be a clue to anything that's happened.
Just I'll open the trapdoor again.
You open it up, and the light from inside the building you're currently in kind of peeks into there, and you hear, oh, 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 oh.
There's stairs down, right? I guess I'll down the stairs?
Yep.
I'll follow behind.
Okay. You take a couple steps into the darkness. Your magical tinkering book providing a little bit of light, but it's very little. It's basically a beacon in the darkness. You head in, and it's pitch black, and you hear something in the darkness going, who are you.
I'm gonna reply with "Who are you?"
X 1111999.
I'm gonna grab the light book and head towards.
Me too.
Okay. You step forward in the darkness, the light book only providing a very small amount of light. You find a wall covered in tools and workshop and other like hammers and a whole bunch of circuitry and actually really advanced science. Basically, it's not quite as advanced as something you know or other people you know, but for a tiny village like this is crazy find. Looking around, trying to find the source of the voice, you can't find it for a second before you find it. And it seems to be the half-destroyed, half-remaining head of what looks to be some kind of mechanical being. You can see a single, barely lit eye that blinks in and out occasionally, and sometimes it goes black, and then it slowly turns back on. It looks like it's hooked up to like 20 cords around the shop, which are further then connected to other magical crystals
and like the ones of the island? Ooh.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going. Look, can I cast mending on it?
Yeah, can you fix this?
Mending fixes two simple objects that are broken simply. This thing is missing half of its head, and it is also only a head.
Fix this?
Maybe if I the rest of it.
Looking over it more, whoever owns this place was obviously actively trying to fix it. It looks like it might have been down here for a while.
Can I investigate those crystals?
Sure.
Ooh, my favorite.
Roll me Arcana.
Fucking 20, dude. Rolled that shit out my hand. Well, I'm trying to figure out, I'm just generally looking at what they I'm pretty sure they're part of the island, and they're hooked up to this head thing, right? I kind of want to take them.
Mm-hmm. So these crystals are obviously one of the many magically channeling crystals that seem to grow out of the spire in the center of the world. These seem to be hooked up in some way to basically provide energy of some sort. Perhaps a little more than that. It's really hard to tell. Even with a natural 20, this is some pretty complicated stuff, and this is not really your area of expertise.
But I kind of want to take them, though.
You want to take one?
Yeah.
Or all of them?
I'm gonna take
4.
There's 4. Are they hooked up to anything other than this head?
The head.
They're like attached to the wall, but like they're only like you can like pull them out pretty easily.
Yeah, I want to take them, bro.
You're gonna pull it out of the wire, or what?
I'm gonna pull one out and see what happens.
You pull it out, and immediately the head just goes completely dark, and it's like, oh.
You mind if I take these?
Kinda. I will be taking the head, though.
Figured you would be. I just kind of want the crystals.
Yeah, you can have the crystals. Get more.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you now, Bador, that these crystals. So the way the crystals work, I don't want to get into it because it's lore and shit, right? But the way the crystals work in this world is that these things don't provide magical energy. They're like super conductive conduits for magical energy. And sometimes you can specifically attune one to certain properties. The most common property being the anti-gravity effect, which allows the items to float. However, specifically attuning crystals to certain properties, like providing a warforged head with a semblance of life, is an incredibly difficult task, incredibly specific task, and you're not going to be finding any other crystals like this in a while.
Oh, I'll find one.
Okay. Well, it's currently shut off. Are you taking more of the crystals?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the crystals out of their thing, but knowing that about the crystals, there's... Can I roll identify on them and see what they're affected by? Because that's what that spell does.
What do you mean affected by?
Like, what kind of, like, their, like, effect... Like, identify tells you about, like, magical effects on objects.
Yeah, but it's a conduit for magical. It doesn't have a magical effect. It's channeling magic. So its magical effect is that it's channeling something. Does that make sense?
Can I try to figure out where the channeling is from?
You could try, but I don't know what you'd be rolling for that Arcana, I suppose.
I'm just trying to look for, like, where it's getting its power from.
I'm confused as to this question.
You're saying
But
that
we'll jump back to this in a second. Think about how to ask this better, and think about your question as well. Kit Kat, you still there? Okay, you ready to start again?
Yes.
Okay. Jumping back to yours, you are currently underwater, being tossed around. You're disoriented, you're confused, and you are surrounded by a lot of really annoying Sids. Okay.
Actually, I need to go do something.
Okay, tell me when you're back, real quick, and we'll jump back to you.
Okay? I'll be right back. Yes.
Okay, so Sam, what were you asking?
I'm looking for where the magic that is giving this object life is coming from, if these things are channeling it.
So, magic in this world isn't a super well understood thing, but the magic is coming from where all magic comes from. No one knows where that is.
The ether.
The difficulty is figuring which type of magic you want to channel through the superconductive material. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So the only thing you would learn from trying to figure out where it's coming from is that it's coming from magic. You don't know where that is or what that is.
What else is in this area?
You can roll an investigation check since Vader did really badly.
Like a 5-foot radius of light.
Both of you can roll an investigation check as well, but it's going to be with disadvantage since you're underground and there's very little light.
Oh, I have to roll again.
You too, Bador.
I am. That's +5 on investigation. 19.
14.
Lucas, it's too dark for you. You're stumbling around. You don't really have a light source. Bador has the book, but even then, it only produces light in a 5-foot radius, so it's very not anything. Bador, you track a few wires around the place, and you find what you think is a light switch. Flipping it on, the lights suddenly take a moment, they kind of flicker, and then they come on. Electrical lighting, very primitive, but it works. And you look around, and you see you are in what looks to be a pretty competent workshop. Nothing crazy, definitely not the best you've ever seen, but it's definitely not bad. It's definitely competent for a tiny little place like this. You can see other scraps of metal, what might have once been Warforged parts, that someone is obviously trying to put back together, but having very, very little luck with it. You can also see lots of other shattered crystals from that same person trying to get those crystals in the right frequency in order to provide the Warforged head, you assume. It's an interesting little room, but there's not a lot besides it being just a straight-up workshop. If you want to look for anything, you can, though.
Oh, what do I get with the 19?
I just told you what you got.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, what you got?
Can I see now? Can I roll now that I can
Yeah,
see?
there's light.
I was asking Justin if I can roll again now that there's light.
Whether you can roll.
Okay.
I might roll again too, just to 23.
Jesus.
23. That's nice.
What'd you get, Lucas?
I'm adding numbers. 21.
Yeah.
So the two of you search around this room a lot, looking in pretty much every little crevice you can. Peter, you find some interesting stuff. There is some tools here and some pieces of work that would only belong to the world government or people that once worked there, at least, kind of like scientists like yourself.
Ooh.
So whoever was working with this obviously had either ties or either was a part of it themselves at one point. Maybe still are. Lucas, you're looking around as well. You find a lot more of those crystals that were used for the conductivity, but most of them are shattered or broken. Obviously failed experiments, as far as you can tell. Looking around, you don't find anything else super interesting. However, there is one thing you do find. Apparently, it belongs to the Warforged head, repairing it like that. Whoever is down here likes to make toys. It looks like you find prototypes for like toy trains or little like moving soldiers, all sorts of really, really simple stuff that's just there to keep kids entertained.
I relay that information out loud.
In this little shed? This hole?
Yeah. Find anything of interest, Mr. Bator?
Toys.
I mean, I've found toys, but aside from that, nothing really of interest more than broken crystals.
Yeah.
You're currently underwater, being bashed around by whatever these things are. You're not going to drown anytime soon, obviously, but it is kind of getting them away. What are you doing?
Can I ask
You gonna try and speak underwater? Yeah, you can try.
I should be able to, right? It's gonna sound kind of muffled.
You try your best to like ask them to basically stop, and as you do, there's like a couple more bats back and forth, but it kind of slows down, and finally it stops. And you get the feeling they're still like off somewhere in the pond, like messing with each other, but they've mostly left.
Okay, well now I'm gonna go up, and Buttercup is gonna be like,
I
thought you died. Alright, so now I'm gonna go up to the obelisk and just kind of like check it out.
This thing is kind of crazy. So immediately looking over without even any checks or anything, you can tell this thing is fucking old. I mean, old. The stone is perfectly smooth to the touch, despite being out in the middle of a pond where it probably rains all the time. And it feels incredibly cold. And it's not like any rock or any stone or any material you've ever felt before. This thing feels utterly ancient. I'm not going to have you roll in perception because it's pretty obvious. Along the sides of this large monument as well are what look to be these ancient, basically these lines of maybe writing, maybe symbols, you have no idea, that is just scrawled all over this thing. And at the very base is the imprint, the image of a human skull with antlers coming out the side of it.
Okay.
Is that writing I see?
You don't see it. You're underground.
I can't read.
I described to you that it's like ancient, incomprehensible runes, and then Sammy's gonna come along. It's just common. You just couldn't fucking read it.
You just like, I can't read this, but I know somebody who can.
What, Eric?
Hey, can I fly up to the top of the obelisk and just kind of like check it out,
yes,
see if there's anything
that's
else up further?
You fly up to the top using your wings for the first time in this game. Your leathery wings unfurl, water, little droplets splashing outwards. You can hear like from behind you as like the water spirits are like, wow. Before you beat once and the wings lift you off the ground, lifting you into the air. You fly straight up for about 50 feet to the top of this thing, where you see, quite similar to the picture at the bottom of the pillar, you see a engraving, basically, or almost a socket, you could call it, of that same skull with the antlers, almost where like it once was, or where it should be, if that makes sense. It's really high up, and you don't think anyone who could not fly or was 50 feet fucking tall could reach this thing.
Okay. I guess now that I've kind of like checked it out, I'll go back into the pond, but I don't know, maybe play with the water spirits again. They seem to really like me. Hard being popular.
Oh, woe is me. I gonna fly back down to the water?
Woe is me.
Before you do...
Yeah, and I'll tell Buttercup that I'm going underneath.
The fog has reached the very, very outskirts of the town and is already halfway across the pond. It has almost reached the pillar where you are at, and the fog is rolling in. You hear whispers and speech. You hear talking and chanting and voices, and laughter and sobbing. You hear tales and legends and stories all whispered to you through some strange phase. You hear the clinking of metal, the clashing of swords, the sound of metal tearing into flesh. And you see something at the edge of the fog. Moving figures, impossible to make out, but their dark shapes stumbling through the edge of the fog. You gonna play with the spirits? You gonna play with the water?
That's fun. Well, my thing is I could stay underwater the whole time. But then, if I needed to leave and go back to Lucas and Santiago and Vader, I couldn't really. Because of the fog on top of the water. Don't worry about the fog. Don't worry about it. I guess I'll wave to the water spirits, and if you remember,
when you do,
I'm gonna fly back over to town.
They're completely gone. They're gone. They're nowhere to be seen.
Okay. Alright, I guess they don't like the fog then. Alright, well, back to the town it is.
Oh my god.
I guess.
No.
I almost got drowned again.
Kinda getting into it that time. Oh yeah, 100%.
Everybody else would have died already if they could if they had gotten in there. Yes! Oh my god.
Okay. You return back to the town, and there is this silence that is kind of perforated the entire area around you. The sound of animals and birds are still there, but even they sound kind of uneasy as the fog draws ever nearer. currently, Lucas and Bader, you're inside the building, and I'll jump back to you in just a second. But as you flood back into town, going back to the Roll20 map here, where are you currently at? What are you doing?
I guguess I'll try to find where Lucas and Bader are at. To kind of like tell them what I saw in the fog. Maybe.
I think you probably would have guessed pretty easily they're in there.
Yeah. Maybe.
So heading up to the church, the door is cracked open, and Lucas and Bader, you two see Kit Kat come into the area. And as they do, the sound of the outside and its uneasy silence / noise reaches you guys as well.
Yeah, I imagine Lucas like walks out because he hasn't really found anything of like interest other than these crystals. Bader though is like found like a whole Warforged head, dude.
Yeah, the fog's haunted.
This is great. The fog is haunted.
The fog is haunted. Yes.
Wonderful.
Scared away the water spirits. Yep. There's also there's writing.
Like in the pond, like on the dirt.
In the pond.
Like...
No, on the obelisk, the tall pillar.
I think I do.
I think Bader does.
I'm pretty sure you do.
Yeah, I'm gonna look out here.
Santiago would have heard this too, but mine's not here. Bader, you hear something coming from inside the well. You're not sure what it is. You're a little too far. You have to get closer to hear it properly. But you hear something.
Is there like a rock nearby?
There's plenty of rocks, dude.
Oh, there's loads of rocks in there.
Oh, we can grab a rock.
How large and how heavy?
A very, like a pretty small rock.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it the 5 feet of light. And just, like, drop it down the well.
There's a second of silence. Ow! And you hear like in the well as someone like someone pretty young sounding like cries out in pain as a rock crashes into their head.
Do we hear this?
Yes.
I immediately go over and I'm like, oh,
Way
so
to
there is
go.
someone down there. I just thought I was hearing things.
The light on the rock and
go into
sinks
the
into the
well.
water, and you can see like vague shapes down there and like the water moving. But it's still too dark to see anything. From down inside the well, you hear.
I'm gonna send North down there.
Okay.
To kind of see if there's.
I can also go down there too.
It'll be a tight fit. I mean, you still look up.
More tight fits.
Oh god.
Oh no, he's too thick.
His ass is too big.
Are you gonna try and squeeze down into the well?
Well, I guess, but Buttercup gets to stay outside of the well, so I don't hear him.
He's
being
already.
mean to me.
He looks ready. He's like looking at the. He like looks at the well, looks back at you, looks back at the well, and he looks back at you. He's like, "You sure you're going to fit?" I don't.
Yes.
know.
Yes, I'm going to fit. So weird.
Are you gonna try and get into the well then? It's gonna be really hard for your wings to carry yourself out of there. It's gonna be really tight fit. You think you can do it, but it's gonna be hard.
Wait, do you have a rope?
I'll
do not have a
do
rope.
it anyways. Well, I have
As a
I
tiefling.
have dark vision, I think.
Oh, yeah, you do.
It's in
Yeah,
that,
okay, so you can see into the well. Looking
tiefling.
down, you can see the dark image. Like, it's completely
Yes.
colorless. but you can see the dark image of what looks to be, I can't tell if it's a boy or a girl, but you can see like a preteen child sitting in the darkness in the water, holding their head.
Okay, I'm gonna peer into the well, like
No!
just over the lip of it. I'm gonna go, child.
They like press up against the wall of the well and like hold themselves in the water. They scream like,
do you want out of there?
Yes, away from
Don't worry.
No, I don't know if you should.
I'm coming.
How do we get them out
like
of the
a rope
well?
or anything around here?
I'm gonna.
she is like screaming
I'm gonna
now.
come
She's like
against you.
screaming like, help, somebody, anybody. Oh my
And
god!
I'm
like,
slowly
you got,
going
like,
down.
you've like extended your arms and your legs to like press up against the sides of the well. You're like shimmying down like some horrible crab. Roll me in athletics.
Can I search around the town for a rope?
Totally. Yeah.
Alright, I'm just gonna check
Where are you
like
searching?
this house first.
Hold on.
Sure. Let me open that.
That was an 11.
According to Cole says that she's been dying of laughter.
How long have you been back, Cole?
For a little while, she says.
Oh my god. So you've heard a lot.
Welcome to the game.
Lucas, you enter into this room and it looks to be like a makeshift bakery of sorts. It's nothing like special or crazy, but there are bread and sacks, and you could probably find some rope here. But the rope probably won't be that very strong.
I mean, I'm gonna look anyway.
Okay. Want me to investigation?
15.
What did you roll, Kit Kat? As you're shimmying your way down the fucking well
11.
towards this poor, sobbing child. You're like, no! You rolled an 11.
Drop.
So you're like halfway down the well when suddenly you slip, and there's this moment of pure panic, and oh my god, as you just completely lose all of your grip and go flying down the well into the fucking water.
Oh no!
You take a little bit of damage than you would normally. You're gonna take damage.
Water breaks fall damage. Didn't you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You only take 3.
There's also a child in the way, though.
You have no idea, Cole. It's not the first time.
It's not the first time
happens
Aaron's
every single
character has traumatized a child.
It's not.
Aaron, you only take 6 damage. But you splash down into the well.
Okay, only 6.
Bader, you hear this enormous as the child at the edge of the well just begins screaming their head off. Like they are crying, they are freaking the fuck out. They're like having a panic attack. They're like clawing at the sides of the well, trying to climb up it, but it's too wet. And they turn around and see Kit Kat slowly raising out of the water in this pure dark well. They're formed with these huge leathery wings and demon-like horns.
Oh no! This is not good.
And the child passes out.
Oh no!
Into the water,
Oh!
face first.
Get the child!
Somebody choked out there. Kick him out of the water.
I'm gonna pick him up. I'm picking him up.
But if you could be in the water,
They
shouldn't
were
they be
picked
able
up out of the
to?
water. The child will not drown.
Okay,
I understand the fact that
just
you
making sure.
cannot breathe underwater.
So you're now holding this completely unconscious child. This happens a lot in these games, huh? Where there's a child involved, Aaron? Huh?
Yeah.
What is everyone
That is
else?
going to be one traumatized
I
child.
It seems to happen a lot.
You found a rope. It should be long enough, but it's not made for holding up people, and it might break. Especially if Kit Kat is on the end of it.
Kit Kat can fly.
Well, if they can just haul the child, I can't in the well though. It's too small. My butt is too big.
Thick.
My
By
ass
the
is
way,
fat.
the fog has now officially reached the edges of the town. The fog of war, I'm gonna make it black just so you guys can know where it is.
Oh, I love
it's
it.
not where this isn't gonna be for when the fog actually rolls in. It's just to show you that it's starting to at this point. Okay.
I come back out with the
Okay.
and I'm like, this is not gonna be strong enough, is it? And I'm talking to Bader.
Probably not.
I can pull myself out. I need to.
Bader, you hear from up the top
Hello.
of the well. You hear Buttercup going, well, maybe if they were a little lighter.
Oh no.
Shut up.
Wait, there's a dungeon near.
My ass is fat.
What, Maya?
I'm just trying to.
Sean, okay.
Oh, I
I'm
have
trying to figure out what to
to
do.
rope.
I've been
Yeah, I don't want to say it because this wouldn't have happened, but I'm pretty sure all of you have.
Throw me the rope.
Yeah,
No,
we
I don't.
my starting equipment's a dungeoneer pack.
Yeah, I didn't take the Dungeoneer
Wait,
pack.
do I have rope?
The Adventurers pack also has rope.
Wait.
The Scholars pack.
Also...
The Scholars pack does not have rope.
I have rope.
Okay, well, the Adventurer and the Dungeoneer
I have
pack
rope.
So you had 100 feet of rope, and you guys didn't use it. You just jumped into the fucking well.
Do you have any better rope?
I'm gonna tie.
I have rope.
Then toss it down there.
I'm gonna toss the rope down.
I have rope.
Kit Kat, the child is starting to stir in your arms.
Stand directly.
She passes out again.
Hello.
Are you tossing the rope into the well?
Please,
Eric can do
somebody
nothing
take
but
this child
traumatize
from me.
children. No.
As you guys are doing this, and as you're lowering the rope down into the well, Bader and Lucas, the sounds of clanking metal, the sounds of whispering, and the sounds of conversations, of talking, of war meetings, and battlefields, and balls, and just anything you can imagine is beginning to become prevalent. And it's starting to kind of encroach on you more and more. And Lucas, you notice down at the south part of the map, if you look there, you can see something stepping out of the fog.
Bader, you might want to get that rope down there faster.
Is this spectral
the rope down there.
form? It looks like a skeleton, but you can see almost like the ethereal flesh, the wispy flesh, kind of pulling off of its equally wispy skeleton. It's clad in ancient battle armor, holding a spear that it dragged along the ground with it. A second later, Bader, behind you, near the top right, you see what seems to be a war dog of sorts, kind of slowly padding towards the town, finding its way in through the fog as well. And unbeknownst to you guys as well, there are more and more things beginning to emerge from the fog.